The following is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
1, 2, 3, Rain, talk to me. We're gonna hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody, you know what I say. I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it stop, Rain.
It's time to stop.
Why did you do this?
Stop.
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gangers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did. And it's like, yeah.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Delve, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Delve. So it's like, when
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why does
look.
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is trash talk too.
I was like,
Apparently something broke with the intro and it didn't play all the way, which is pretty shitty, but hey, that is what it is. It's life in the big city. So, hello and welcome everybody to Trash Talk Tuesday. My name is Redline13. We've got kind of a low-key show for you tonight. A lot of people are out and about doing, things that they do. In the background here, you'll see an interesting sight. We've got an Imperium fleet kind of just chilling out, so we're gonna keep an eye on them. Next door to these guys down here, a system is being hacktified. And just for the record, I'm in 1DQ. The T5Z iHub has been reinforced, and we're just here to see if there's going to be any fight or anything like that. I don't think there is, because these guys certainly won't jump into the half a dozen, frigates on the other side of this gate. But, well, we could be wrong. So anyways, we've got a pretty hot show for you guys tonight. We're joined, like I said, low-key. We've got Jeremy here. We've also got Riker, the star of Between Two Keep Stars, a show that broadcasts every other Sunday on this very Twitch channel. We've also got Dominark. Say hi, Dom.
Hi, Dom.
And then we've got myself. I'm Redline13. I am one of the hosts for this evening, and pretty much everybody else is probably involved in the hacking of Delve. So how's everybody doing tonight? We doing okay?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm kind of just circling this fucking gate for no reason. It's a good time.
I'm hacking Dell.
So we've got a couple different viewpoints here. We've got one side circling the gate for no reason. Are you in the Harpy fleet or the Sacrilege fleet? What?
Sacrilege fleet for me.
Sacrilege fleet. Okay, so you're in the fleet that I'm on grid with right now.
Oh, you
I
were.
can-
Oh, yeah, you cloaked up. Yeah, we saw you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm cloaked up. I came in, started spamming local, and then warped off.
Oh,
Which
I didn't
is-
see local. Damn, I would have been high.
I mean, I can do it again. There it is. I'm spamming now. Oh, there's a Viator coming in. Oh man, we are having
The mods
fun
have been in
tonight.
trouble by talking to you.
So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this game capture real quick. We'll tune back in if we need to. If anything happens here, we'll jump back in. Go ahead and talk again, Dom. I'm gonna make sure I can hear you. Okay, bud.
That's probably me. Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna turn you up a little bit so you're good. So now we're joined by Loki, fresh out of a traffic jam. Say hello, Loki.
Hello, Loki. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's good.
Spent an hour and a half in traffic.
It is weird that there's not a bunch of people in here yelling over each other. I don't get it.
I mean,
how's that work?
it's not that weird. Like in the sense of
Really?
weirdness, as far as weirdness goes, it's not that weird.
Well, it's
I mean,
unusual for us.
yeah, I guess so. it's unusual for us. I mean, we'll get there eventually. Once people start coming
Probably.
on, we'll get there. So we've got a few pretty decent topics to cover tonight.
This is the
Apparently,
pre-show.
this is the actual show. What do you mean?
No, I'm trying to buy you time so that more people can get them.
Oh no, it's totally fine. It's cool. We got 2 hours, so plenty of time. But anyway, we've got a couple different topics that we're going to talk about tonight. If you saw the ping that I made in the Trash Chat Tuesday Discord, we're going to be talking about the ESS changes and why our friend Jeremy Andadair is a worthless crab and should literally just go back to HiSec. You probably saw his Reddit post. You probably also downvoted his Reddit post because I heard it was hot garbage. Jeremy, can you confirm or deny that fact?
Listen, it was not one of my best works. However, the point was still good.
Right. Okay. And then we're also going to talk about the, I mean, honestly, the Imperium's lack of, competent FCs and how they kind of maybe sort of just completely left to Keepstar undefended in both
Hey.
shield and armor timer, even though we were told very specifically that we would pay for every inch that
Red-
we
It's
would
not
try to
Delve.
take.
Redline, I think you
Well, some
died.
of the inches are just cheap. I mean,
What do you mean you think I died?
I look at the stream. It's no longer at the gate.
That was intentional, I'm fairly certain.
It's still at the gate, homie. I just turned it off because I didn't. There's nothing happening. It's just a ball of orange pussy and people doing nothing.
Well, no. So you said the Imperium's is totally incompetent. I want to challenge you on that fact.
I didn't
They
say
are
the Imperium
gate
was totally
camping.
incompetent.
Okay,
However,
well they are camping
I
the
was
shit
not
out of that gate.
quite finished. So the FCs are incompetent. They only have a handful. One of them's Asterelius, and it turns out that acts of nature can literally cause the defense of all these structures to just fall apart, which kind of sucks. Anyways, and then we've also got some other changes that came in today. The VAT out of hell showed up today. The dynamic bounty system showed up today. And we're going to talk about all that stuff over the course of the next couple hours. So if you're tuned in for that, you're in the right spot.
So what happened to
I have a
Ash?
question for you. Did the super carrier recloning thing go active today, or just getting it set up?
Yes, it did.
So it's active. Okay.
All of
I
these
saw the
things went
tab there,
active
but I
all
wasn't
at
sure
the
if it
same
was-
time. And remarkably, all it took was an extra 40 minutes of downtime, and everything works perfectly. Or so I'm told.
It's actually kind of impressive compared to other games when they have like major updates or something like that. I remember
compared to
WoW
this
would be
game,
fucking down for like 3 weeks sometimes. Yeah.
Compared to this game, it's pretty impressive because normally we have a big update like this, and it's Bob's your uncle. You're cooked for at least a good half of your day. You're on Reddit screaming about sub money and shit
But
like
it's not
that.
as bad as it used to be. Yeah,
You're
if
right.
they
It's not as bad as it
be
used to be.
horrible. It would be literally days, and it would suck. But they gave you free skill points back then, so I mean.
Wait, is Jita finally
Well,
finished?
did they though? I mean, they started giving free
yes.
skill points like
Yes,
in the
so-
recent past.
So Jita is finally finished as well. I actually I wrote what I think is a pretty decent article about it on the New Eden Post website. So if you're not familiar with, what this is, what this whole channel is, it's a part of the New Eden Post, which is a new kind of like network for podcasts, news articles, and everything like that. And coolly enough, if you go to the New Eden Post website right now, the first thing you will see is this stream, because I have it set up to where it shows the stream right on the front page, depending on what's going on. And then it's pretty dope, right?
It really is, actually. It is.
Like, say what you will about me, say what you will about, me having a hard-on for hating a certain group of people in the video game, which I don't, by the way. I got some chops when it comes to web design. I'm just saying. It is what it is. But anyways.
Yep. Web design trained to level 5, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. Sikander Cole, you are absolutely correct. There is poop being spoken articulately on that article. Essentially what it boils down to is there's a bunch of stuff that came out today. It's all the updates, all the stuff that's been like talked about for the last shit, I don't know, month and a half or so. It all went to CC for like 3 hours and then went directly live. So that's the cycle we're in right now, where we don't really test anything. We just do stuff. So before we go into the topics, I know I've been talking this whole time, but I just want to let you guys in on a little secret. Well, not really a secret, but more of a story, I guess you could say. So tonight I'm driving home from work because I have to compete in this like really super serious 1v1 so this guy can join our corp. And I'm late, right? So I'm trying to drive fast, okay? I'm trying to drive fast and I get pulled over, right? I get pulled over for speeding, and it's obviously a shitty thing. I'm going 11 miles over the speed limit, right? It fucking sucks. So anyway, I tell this guy, oh, they're warped. These guys are warping. So I tell this cop when he pulls me over. He says, "Do you know what I pulled you over for?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was speeding, I guess." And he's like, "That's right. So I'm gonna give you a ticket here. Why were you going so fast? You just slow down." So then I explained to him, I was like, I'm trying to get home so I can just 1v1 host this Twitch talk show about EVE Online. And then this motherfucker, he gave me 2 tickets. He said the first one was for speeding, the second one was for being a massive piece of shit and hosting an EVE talk show. But
I get it.
And justice was served that day.
You're
sorry,
lucky
that
you
was
didn't go to jail.
I swear it was
really-
unrealistic because I know you're at NC and they don't 1v1 people.
No,
That
he
was a-
did. I lost
Most,
$1 billion
most
because
officers are goons, and you do know that, right?
I lost $1 billion. I lost a fucking billion ISK out of solidarity to Red Line. I don't know what compelled me to fucking do that. But Bob also lost $1 billion, or wait, 1.5, and then also has to change his name to something really stupid. So
I know
basically,
Bob. He
the
has to
easiest
change his name too.
the
And
easiest
also,
2.5 bill Pittsburgh has ever made, I think.
yeah, probably. And also the guy got into corp, so that's cool. We did a nice thing, and he's in corp, and that's great. So, anyways, let's just jump into it. I mean, that was a pretty shitty joke. Not gonna lie,
I
but
liked it.
I mean, I worked on it really hard as I was stuck in traffic.
It was reminiscent
So,
of a
I'm
young
kind of intoxicated,
Dave.
and I'm a big nerd, so that's why it was funny to me.
Young Dave Chappelle is what that sounded like.
young Dave
Maybe,
Chappelle. Okay.
yeah, dude, maybe with like a little bit less talent, but like it held up.
Wow. All right. All right. A
Less
little
talent
less
than
talent. I got it.
Dave
Okay.
Chappelle. I mean, it's
Okay.
like,
All
can
right.
you play
All right.
basketball like a little bit less well than Michael Jordan? I think it's still pretty good.
All right. So let's talk about, what do you guys want to talk about first?
You don't have
Do
any
it.
fucking pictures posted of the fucking shit in Jita. What the hell?
What, Jada? What are you talking about?
What Jita? Really?
Am I on the right fucking? I'm totally not. I'm like
Didn't you say
watching
something
talking
about it?
stations.
There's changes in Jita or something?
Yeah, I have pictures of that in the article. I have a really good picture. I got a really good picture of the space train. I mean, let's talk about that. Let's talk about these updates that went live today. Let's figure out what we actually think these updates are gonna do and what kind of usefulness they're gonna have. Let's start out with the Jita remodel. So, what do you guys think about that? Have you seen that? Like, have you been there? Have you actually flown around it? Have you seen it all? Hi, Vertizo. Veritzo.
I'm pretty sure it fixed the game, didn't it? I mean,
I'm
it
logging
pretty
in
much
right now,
solved
dude.
every problem the game has.
It looks cool. I don't really ever go to Jita, so.
I'm logging in my alt right now on dock, and you'll get a very candid reaction to whatever the fuck it is they did to the station.
Well, no, Jeremy, you never go to Jita because you're too busy crabbing.
Well, like, explain it to
If
people
I was
like
a crab,
you,
I'd go to
Andrew,
Jita. I don't have any
all the
money.
structures change, or just the one?
All the what pictures are you talking about?
Structures in Jita. Is just the one structure changed its model, or do they all
Yeah,
change?
just the one.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, just the one.
I'm pretty sure it solved most of the problems of Eve.
See, it is funny that you mentioned that because the art team doesn't fix balance issues. So
What?
as shitty as you want to be about the changes that are being made, you can't be shitty to the art team about it.
No, the art team is fantastic. It's easy.
Fine. They're good. They're really good.
They really
actually.
are. They're fucking.
The art
There's
team
been
is
some
amazing.
tinkers, but that happens. Overall, they're a great art team.
So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm just gonna log out Redline real quick, and I'm gonna log into my Jita alt, and we're gonna broadcast at the back of it.
That's a good idea.
which is the
So
warp in.
3,627 available skins for your ships.
3,600. Oh, a billboard.
3,627 skins available in game.
So one thing that I saw about this JITA update is that we're thinking we're gonna switch our trading to a different station instead of JITA 4.4. Now that they've done all this work, we're just gonna go somewhere
Oh
else.
my god, that would be fantastic.
I would love that. I was thinking of the one I saw the Reddit post of the
Right next door.
one.
There's
Right
one
next
right next
door,
door. Like it's
Perfect.
on
Tranquility
grid with
Trade
it.
Tower.
I mean, you guys are already. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say like perimeter's still pretty much a pretty big thing.
Oh my god, I would laugh so hard if we moved
It'd be
everything
funny,
out of there.
right?
It would be fucking fantastic.
Hilarious.
Yes.
Like Jita
That
becomes
would
a
be
ghost town. They have to boost the node in perimeter instead of Jita, and then
The lights start flickering.
we literally just say fuck NPCs and like do all of our business at the trade tower.
Yeah.
Why not?
You highlight it. It says core absent. Fucking
Dave,
it's
why did you
abandoned.
change your show name? We didn't change the show name. We just changed the name of the channel. It's been
Yeah,
like
I
this for
accidentally.
like 3 months. What do you mean?
I literally clicked on talking to stations because I was like, oh yeah, trash talk. So I saw a T. I got a little too hasty, and then I come back. I'm like, why the fuck is Matterall's face on the? Oh right.
Oh,
I did
it's
that like 4 weeks in a row.
Matterall.
Radio. I kept doing the same
Matterall.
thing.
Also,
nuts.
you guys may have noticed we're broadcasting an hour late according to Eve time. That is simply because I don't respect daylight savings time, but daylight savings time literally controls my life.
Yeah, why the fuck do we still? Can somebody explain to
Well,
me
yeah.
why we do this? Like, why
No,
do we do
nobody
this
can.
to ourselves? It's
I can.
stupid. Let's just stop. Let's everybody just say no more of that shit. Like, I can't even walk my dog now in the daylight. Like, it's brutal. I mean, I also live in Canada, to be fair, so I am ranting a little bit because of that. In the States, I'm sure you guys still have like adequate sunlight ish.
I mean, if you want to call
Go
it that,
outside. There's no
it
reason to
gets
go
it gets dark at like 5. It starts getting dark at like 5:30 in the afternoon. That's what time I get off of work most days.
So they
Can I
turned
just tell
Jita into a
you how
shopping
toxic
mall.
this is?
They literally turned Jita into a fucking shopping mall. That's basically what it looks like. A really, really big. It looks like downtown Toronto, actually, like outside of the Eden Center. That's exactly what it looks like.
So, okay, we're talking about changes and stuff. Has anybody heard or read the article claiming that with the changes to the minerals, that there's lots of systems in NULLSEC that will be impossible to increase the ADMs?
I saw that. That was very interesting.
You think that's true? It is a good article,
That was Cable's post, wasn't it?
I
Yeah,
don't remember who it was.
The thing about
It
Cable
makes
is
sense, but I
I'm
don't think it's true.
inclined to lend an ear to everything that he says, and I know that some people are not inclined to do that because they think he has a bad attitude, and I agree he does have a bad attitude, but he's also like right a lot, so there's
I
that.
was just gonna say, bad attitude or not, is usually accurate.
He is, yeah, and I mean that's why he has like this dystopian view of the game, and it's just like this could have been better, that could have been better. Look it, I'll show you what's broken with this, and then everyone doesn't like it because he's very negative, but he's also very negative because he's able to see the flaws, and so I'm like, I don't know, I'm inclined to generally agree with the things that he says.
Cable is a smart cookie. We
There
like
has to be a
Cable
threshold.
here.
There has to
Certainly
be
is.
because there's you can mine so much to get the ADM up, but it decreases at a certain rate too. So if you don't have enough to mine, there's going to be that. Whether or not they made it so that doesn't happen, I don't know. I doubt they saw that. That doesn't seem like something you would realize.
Can we just take a moment and appreciate this view right here? Like, this is Jita, okay? This is Jita. And I'm bringing everything forward. Like, do you see the fucking space train? Do you see the fucking space train? Tell me you see the space train.
True. What is? Oh, is that like is that go to the planet? I didn't even see that.
Yes. That is a space. That is a literal space train, dude. Like, how sick is this fucking station? It goes. There's a city there. You can see the city.
I can't wait to abandon it.
Look at the space train.
Oh, you know what pisses me off? We can't fucking bombard the planets anymore. I'd be out there bombarding the shit out of that motherfucker.
Dude,
Killing
this
all
is, and I was told that this was here beforehand. Like this was already here before
just-
they even did everything. But look at it go! It's got fucking jet boosters. Phew. Down to the planet.
Dorothy, we need the lore on it. What's the fucking space elevator made of?
Do we ever really need the lore
No,
on
we
it
don't
though?
ever,
I mean,
don't ever.
All right, look,
need it.
I'm sorry.
dude,
I'm
I was
sorry.
I was
Okay, I
listening to
just got
the
distracted by the space train. It's dope.
I was listening to the old Talking in State or one of the last Talking in Stations that was posted on YouTube, and what's her name? Jesus Christ.
It's correct.
Arcia. Arcia was bitching at Billy basically, or like really kind of RPing like a motherfucker about how Billy was responsible for the deaths of billions of people in a specific system because of the whole Triglavian thing, and it was amazing. And then Billy's tried to like RP his way out of it, which was like even funnier. Like he's like but we had like yeah totally. It was the whole thing was fucked. I was like, oh my god, what's going on right now?
All right,
It was
this might
great.
actually be the new
Wasn't that in
backdrop.
the scope? It was in the scope video. They talked about all the people that have died, like all the crew members of all the ships that have died.
Right. It's Billy's fault. That's literally Billy's fault.
It is Billy's
According
fault.
to Arcia, it's Billy's fault, and I believe her because why would she
Yeah,
lie?
I mean, it makes sense. It's
Exactly.
all his fault.
My question is, why do we care about non-capsuleers? They're just disposable for us, honestly.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
That's
Why
kind of
do we
racist,
care about
honestly.
non-capsuleers?
Well, the first thing is we have to establish, do we actually care? Like I did enjoy the argument because it made Billy look like not so great of a guy when his whole thing is that Test are the good guys. So that was funny. But outside of that, like I mean, I could be fucked really.
I would say
Like a
nullsecers
few
don't give a
billion
shit.
people, few billion
Hijackers might.
people. Yeah, like they descended into some like dark Triglavian abyss and all kind of just probably got harvested or something. It's
So
tragic, but
Billy
I
is
mean,
basically turning Eve into
The only thing more
into
tragic is the
140K
Pochfin
when it comes
region.
to killing.
Don't talk about Pochfin like that, dude. It's not nice.
Hey, they're actually updating it to make it less crap.
And
Pochfin.
imagine, I couldn't
So-
imagine like putting out something and then making it good.
wait, what's bad? Like, what's bad about it?
It's just
Explain.
no content.
I see. So
What is it?
it literally is just like empty systems of space with like menial things to do, basically.
Yeah,
I missed what Gamey said. What was it?
and you can go after a few drone sites, but that's really it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. It's like CCP. Eventually, I'm sure there will be shit to do. Who knows?
Of course there will. That's how this goes.
And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna join a Triglavian corp.
Okay.
First they make the systems. They make it
I
impossible
heard-
to actually get in there.
I heard Bjorn B started a new corp.
Called the Bank Robbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
Bank
it
Robbers.
Pochfin Corp, isn't it?
But it's not impossible to get in.
Well,
things.
I
It's
mean,
hard,
I
right?
think the whole premise behind that is that because of what he wants to do, it's like Pochfin can always be kind of like a base for them, if that makes any sense, because you're not always going to be going to the same places, right? You're going to want to go to different places. And so the easiest way basically from any random place in space is to just yeet back into Pochfin.
What Vlad says is very true, and this is one thing that has me worried about all the changes they make. Is they never follow through. They come up with great ideas, start them, and fucking just let them. They don't ever come back and revisit them.
Oh, like drifter incursion.
Different, yeah,
Well,
drifter incursions, walking in stations. There's tons of stuff that they've started.
Okay, well,
It
the
sounded
walking
good,
in stations
and then-
thing.
I know. I just thrown that one out to be.
That was more of like a
I know.
a bankruptcy issue,
But
I think,
there's
more
a-
than
there's, like,
anything else. But
the faction warfare, the bounty system. There's so many things that they start, and they started off kind of, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds great. It's gonna be kind of fun, and then they never fucking finish it.
So
Yeah.
LB says that Pochfin is the new Thera. What do we think about that? I never
Not
really
about
thought about
Thera,
that
so-
because you can kind of
I didn't have the old
you
Thera,
can
so I didn't need a fucking new one.
filament in and then just filament right back out. Like
Can't you get there through wormholes too? Is that
you
possible?
can, yeah, you can do the, yeah, it's you can take gates out. Like it becomes very convenient for people who know how to navigate that kind of shit. And honestly, I'm not one of those people because I could be fucked. That's not my game style.
The
But
LB's he's so
it does.
smart. He knows how to do all this shit, so he makes us all look bad.
I
Who's
think it's
this?
kind of funny though
Wait,
because
who's smart?
NC.
LB.
Let's
LB is-
just
say-
all remember though, NC still has a Fortizar in Poshvin.
Okay.
Rain's not
Sikander,
here right now. I
Rain's not
don't know
here.
where Rain is actually, but she's on the screen because I didn't change it. This is just who the hosts are, ish. So
Ish.
Yeah,
Nice.
she's good.
That's some cancer comms, dude.
Hmm?
I just got a bunch of feedback from I think Riker or Jeremy,
Someone.
one of the two.
I heard it too, so I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, I mean the premise is that you can always eat back into Poshvin in some capacity, and so it's a smart play if you want to be the kind of I mean BRB is kind of setting up his corp for new changes to the game, and so I mean why not, right? That makes sense.
Can't wait to wipe Bjornby off the face of the earth again when he comes back into Brave space. Already did it once. Let's go for a twofer.
Off the face of the earth. Those are some strong words, my friend. Some
We get
strong
it. You like to kill
words.
people that come into your space. Join the party.
I do. I like protecting my
party?
assets.
are we
Yeah,
gonna
but I mean,
go there
I don't know.
now? Are we
I
gonna
don't
go
think
there,
Bjornby was.
Jeremy?
I really like Bjornby. He's always really good fun.
I don't
No,
think he
I
was
mean,
after your quote unquote assets, to be honest.
are we gonna
I think
go
he
there
just wanted
now?
content.
Like, is it time for us to go there?
Nah, let's give it a little
We got
bit.
peak Bjorn count. Come on, Red Lion.
All right, so let me just tell you this, that before the stream started, Jeremy and I were having a pretty heated discussion about how he's a garbage crab and he doesn't like content because he doesn't want to participate in it. And content isn't content when it's content if he doesn't like the content. And that's kind of where our conversation ended.
Well,
It was fun. So chat, there's a bunch of you in chat. Do you guys want us to get into that, or do you want to keep living the dream that we're all nice and having a honky dory talkaroni in the chat? Okay, yes, fight. We have one person that says yes, fight. If one more person says yes, fight, we're gonna have to fight.
I think we're gonna fight, dude. Let's fight. What are we
Wreck
fighting
Jeremy drama. Was this bun fight about the ESS? Yes, it was actually. It was about the ESS. A bunch of people saying yes, fight, do it, no balls. So Jeremy, I think it's time. I think it's time that you put your money where your mouth is. So let's talk
I
about
don't
the
have any
ESS
money.
changes. So first off, let's get the objective horse shit out of the way. All right, let's get the objective out of the way. So today, the ESS changes, the changes where a portion of your hard-earned crabbing isk, your ratting isk, goes into the pocket of a sentient toaster that can tell when people are nearby and disables their modules, but only if they're in specific ships doing specific things. And that update went live today. To my knowledge, we still don't actually know how much the ESS actually takes from your ship.
So we have
82%.
some we have what we think is okay. Let me get it up. I actually looked this up. So what we have observed, 40% of all of your tech goes into ESS, and then of that 40%, 10% goes into the private ESS.
Okay.
That we
Okay.
so
So I never saw any of the numbers, right? I never saw anything that said this is how much goes here, this is how much goes there. So did you get these numbers like from a stream or from like figuring it out on your own?
that's what someone else in Brave figured out.
Okay, but
That's what
how?
we think.
Because
By
the numbers by getting ticks. Okay, so they didn't
Yeah.
publish the numbers. So that's my first and really only issue with this update is that they didn't post the actual numbers of what the ESS takes away and holds on to, which is fundamentally it's fundamentally wrong to update a game and not post the numbers, honestly. Like it's not good, you know? And then also LB points out that The dynamic bounty system went live today. It's at 115% for all systems, it looks like. So that's a buff. So we'll say net 35% of whatever you're ratting goes into the ESS. Ish. Well, no, it's still the same, but 35% of the income that you would have had goes into the ESS, and then another 5, 7, some percent. Math is hard. Fuck you. Goes into the private bank. So Jeremy, why don't you just go ahead and I'm gonna set back, and I'm gonna let you spill your heart about how you feel about this ESS change, that it's ruining your game, and that you'd rather play RuneScape and this and that.
I am playing RuneScape right now, actually.
And I'm gonna shit on it. I'm gonna shit on your heart.
Okay.
About everything you say. So take it away, Jeremy. This is Jeremy is the leader of a large corporation in Brave.
I'm not a leader of anything.
He's in leadership. You said you were in leadership. What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not the leader. That's
Okay,
someone.
so,
I'm not the CEO.
So Jeremy is the leader of a corp.
No.
He's a leader in a corp. Okay, he's a leader in a corp of Brave. It's a big corp, so they have some pretty big impact here. So Jeremy, take it away. I'm muting my microphone. I'm gonna eat some Cheez-Its.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm leader of a big corp. I am also an FC for the Brave Alliance. What I see here,
Not
so
an
this,
FC.
the idea of the idea for CCP was to get people more spread out, to get people more engaged in content, to generate strife. That's what they want to do, is they want to generate content. And really, all this has made us end up doing is all this is getting. We all are now clumped together, and we are just going to. We just have a giant hammer, essentially, in the form of our subcap ships. We are going to take, and we are going to clobber instead of trying to give a good fight ever again. We're just going to simply clobber anyone who comes into our space, and we're going to take the rats, and we're going to put them all in one spot, essentially. And then no one's ever going to get any content out of this, and all that's going to happen is I'm going to make more money. And it doesn't achieve any objectives it set out to achieve.
Was that it? Was that what you were gonna say? Is that you're gonna clump everybody together and it's not gonna make any money?
It's
Or you're
yeah.
gonna make
Well,
extra money?
we're gonna make either no money or extra money. It just remains to be seen how this plays out.
All right. So let me introduce you, Jeremy, to the dynamic bounty system, which is literally the counter to that. You clump up all your boys and girls and in a group of systems, that group of systems is gonna get clobbered. With the dynamic bounty system. You're literally going to be getting 30% about what you actually think you're going to get. So eventually, it might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, it might not be next week, hell, it might not even be next month, but eventually it'll even itself out to where indeed, yes, you will need to spread your shit out. Otherwise, you're just not going to make any money at all.
You know what's gonna? Yeah, we figured that out too. We're just gonna move. We are literally just gonna do once the bounties drop. We're gonna pack up our ships and we're gonna move somewhere else. And we're gonna take the hammer there.
Okay,
and
that's
club
big
people
brain.
there.
That's
we're
big
gonna
brain.
take
That's
people.
big brain.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna take
big brain.
people
Big brain.
there, and then we're gonna club people with a hammer who try to come into those systems that have the good bounties.
Okay.
And we're gonna evict the small corps that can't give us resistance because this change does not account for small corporations having less power.
Nice. Okay. And then when you are met with something that I don't know, so you basically take and you fuck all these systems, you clean them out, you get the bounties down to 0, and then you're done with that system. You move on to a different system. So there's not going to be any system. There's not going to be any people in that system, which means there's not going to be any PvP happening in that system, which means that that number is never going to go back up. That bounty number is going to be stuck at whatever bullshit 30% you're getting now, because you've literally fucked the system hard enough that its parents can feel it. So
but you see,
you're going to run out of space because space is not infinite. So essentially, what you are doing is you are going to create yourself an elaborate trap where you think you're big braining it, but you can't beat the system, and you're gonna lose. All of your
So
space is gonna be fucking down. The crabs are gonna be so pissed. The ESS isn't even gonna bring any money in. And what are you gonna do about it?
I have projected for this though. You see,
Okay,
I have
okay, I'm
also thought
ready.
of it.
Project,
So
project on me,
we
baby.
first
I'm
off,
ready.
we project that we are still going to obviously get content in those systems, and when we take the hammer and break up that content because they're trying to take my money, that will raise the ADMs. Furthermore, we're gonna see if a frigate death and a battle cruiser death, yeah, what Rune just said. Just take a bunch of really if a ship death is a ship death essentially, and everyone
So
raises the
exploit the
yes.
system. Got it? Exploit it? Okay, cool. Exploits. So we're gonna use exploits now. I'm in. Ready? Keep going. Jeremy?
Sorry, I got a phone call there. I had to tell someone I don't want car insurance.
Oh, nice. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, it's
So
not an exploit. Like there are
kind of
things
is.
like this in the. It's not abusing game mechanics. You can't ban PV. Like it's not. It would not fall under what's classically considered an exploit, and I think it's just using the system against itself. It's not like what are you going to tell people? You can't AWOX people in their own system. Like, is that what you're going to ban? Like,
I
are you
mean,
going to ban AWOX, Steve?
they disallowed queuing up alts for the abyssal tournaments because that
That's
is what was used to game that system. So what's to stop them from disallowing you intentionally killing your alts to raise the DBS in your system?
they're
There's
not my
nothing stopping them from doing that, right?
keep in mind that people would queue up with their court mates and let them win, and I don't think that
Uh-huh.
was ever taken off. So,
No, you're right. So I mean, you can set up a Thunderdome in a system. You can do all that kind of stuff, or you can do it the way the mechanic was meant to be played, accept the fact that people are being invited into your system to bring you content to your doorstep, but you don't want the content.
why
Is
would
that
I do
right?
that?
You don't want the
Why?
content
So
because you're an
why
FC.
would I?
You're an FC. You want to give
Uh,
people content, and that's
okay.
what you want to do. You want to give people content, and when people bring content to your doorstep, it's kind of a good thing. Like
No, it's not.
you get free and easy content, you take that content.
Why would
Content.
I allow
Content.
people who don't want to have that, people who are threatened by this content, people who don't, who aren't interested in PvP in my home? Why would I as an FC be any good if I allowed people to just come into my home system, take my friend's money and leave? Why would I be a good FC for doing that or liking that, pray tell?
What do you
Why
mean?
is that? Well, because I'm not
What
the only
part
one who
of what I said? What part of what I said indicates to you that I think that you should just let people take your shit and leave?
That's fair enough. I think though that's what it promotes. It's that kind of mindset that I have to bring the biggest. I have to do the most I can. Like no content, no quarter. I cannot allow my friends' money to get taken. Is the kind of mindset it puts in me. That I have to defend my friends, even if I like the content. That doesn't matter. I have to discourage that content for the sake of the people I work with in Brave, who might not be able to defend themselves otherwise.
You're a very thoughtful and passionate young man, Jeremy. I respect
Thank you.
that.
So essentially what we're seeing here is that you're white knighting for everybody else.
Yeah, I
Essentially.
think Brave just needs to get good. I'm gonna be real with that.
Brave newbies for a reason. It's not brave bitter vets.
It's
Well, they're
brave
not gonna be brave
collective.
newbies.
What is okay, here's my question, right? People who've been playing this game for 5-10 years and have a lot of money, have everything built up because they came in before these changes, right? How is someone who joins relatively soon without the money supposed to defend themselves against people who have pods worth more than their entire net worth?
They're
Right?
not.
With
They're not.
friends?
They're not.
Well, it doesn't matter because those people have
Can
friends
Costa
who have.
Rica defend itself against the United States? If we were
So
attacked in Costa Rica, do you think they
so
could?
what you're
No.
saying I'm sorry, Dom. Go ahead.
No, that's my point. Something you just because something's big bigger than you, has more stuff than you. There's nothing that says they have to be equal to you. You have to be equal to them. If you start off new, you shouldn't be able to compete with somebody who's been playing the game for 15 years. That doesn't make any sense if you could.
That is a pretty
It
valid
doesn't.
point.
There's no so if a small like 20-man small corp taking it on its head that just joins the game, they're just new friends, whatever. They basically now have to pay however percent, however much goes into the ESS to whatever wormhole corp has an open hole near them. Because all that's going to happen is they're going to come in with ships and pods worth more their entire like corp wallet, take their money, and leave. Like there's
Think
no
so?
way.
Roll
Rat
your
then.
fucking
Mine.
holes, Jeremy. Roll your fucking holes. You guys
Okay.
have a large group of dudes. It's not
No,
hard
but
to
if you
I'm not. I'm not
roll.
talking about Brave. I'm not talking about
smaller
Brave.
group.
I said
Yeah.
like a small 10-man corp or whatever.
Dude,
They might
those
not even know to do
in
that.
NULLSEC?
Yeah.
No, in NULLSEC, those don't really exist anymore. Okay, like let's be honest.
I'm just giving a theoretical here
I'm
because
literally a small 10-man corp. I'm in LowSec technically, but I do most of my shit in NullSec. I
Okay,
actually have
I gotta ask a
10,
question before
10
we continue.
actual people in my corp, and I know that I need to roll my holes before I start doing
okay,
shit.
well, because
And
you've
that's
played the game.
extremely.
Okay.
Yeah, so how about this? So do you think that these 10-man corps have like just random fucking like new bros
Well,
as
I'm not
like
saying. I'm just
CEOs and
Well, some
saying.
stuff?
of them do.
Because
That
Some do.
does
well,
exist.
if they do, right, but if they do, that corp is not going to be successful no matter what. I mean,
Exactly.
maybe if they reach some kind of like perfect like storm kind of thing for them to have set it up, then it's great. But like honestly, I literally just set up a corp. Like literally just did it. Okay, like a couple months ago, and the margin for failure was very high, and I know what the fuck it is that I'm doing. Right.
Okay.
So I don't think that these 10-man corps that everyone talks about actually exist. They do in low sec to a certain degree, but those corps are not very doing anything important or dynamic. They're mostly probably just following along with some larger group in faction warfare and eventually become assimilated into the larger group and then may or may not be completely poached by the larger group
Okay, that's
eventually,
fair.
right?
So
So
would you like to see more smaller corps in nullsec then?
no,
No.
it's not really a
No,
thing.
absolutely
Okay,
not.
that's fair.
Like we
No, see, yeah,
literally just
most
I
people
had
are
a
pushing all
conversation with
six.
I had a conversation with some friends about joining an alliance with the corp that I have now, and I was like, no, there's no way because the corp that I have now, the 10 people, right, the 10-man corp, will not be successful in that environment because of the requirements of those larger groups. And so, I mean, it's probably better for a 10-man group to kind of do what I did, like go to low sec, but join meaningful groups of people who are able to do meaningful things and protect you to a certain
Can
degree
can I
and
chime in
contribute to
for
that group.
just a moment?
What's up?
Because someone in the chat said something that I love to see. It says, Brave newbie in-game corp description. Join us and play Eve like it was meant to be played, and this FC doesn't want people to come to his space because they could interrupt shooting red crosses.
That's fair.
That is why when you say I'm an FC for Brave, I say you're full of shit. Because FCs want content. That is what
Okay,
FCs want. Now
that's fair.
you may command fleets of crabs, but that's not really a fleet. Like when you
So
look at FCs, you look at combat people. And I know you're a combat person, and I know that when I say not an FC, that grinds your gears. But you know
doesn't
I'm not
matter
wrong.
about your opinion.
What?
But
It doesn't you don't care
here's
about my opinion?
here's how that differs. So someone who fights professionally, right? Does someone who fights professionally want to go out and also get into bar fights or get into situations where he someone else is in danger besides him or anything like that where
Like a comparison at all. If a MMA fighter gets into a bar fight, they're usually charged with not assault and battery or whatever. They're charged with attempted murder because they know
yeah.
better.
Can I? No, only if they actually like legitimately hurt the other person. So
So
I actually did Krav Maga for like most of my life, and I'd be in situations where people in bars would get really rowdy, and I'd go outside, but I wouldn't hurt those people, right? I just wouldn't get hurt myself. I'd make them look like idiots. I'd go back inside. I'd finish my drink. So yeah, you're right. Like no, obviously people who actually know what it feels like to get hit in the fucking face generally don't want to get into altercations with people just for the fucking shit of it because they understand how that feels, which is further incentive to make sure that everybody knows what it's like to get punched in the face once in their lives, and I think the world would be a
Yeah.
better place.
No.
I don't know what this
Look,
has anything to do with the fucking
It
game,
really
I have
doesn't.
a
but
Like,
that's my
no,
opinion.
you
I have
you
an
can't
allegory. It's
just
okay.
pull you can't pull an analogy out of your ass and relate it to EVE Online. Like it
Well, he
has
can,
nothing
but
to do with it.
what is the
Well,
relevance?
So
it just doesn't
At
make
least
sense.
make the
you-
analogy better. It's more or
I
less
like it.
like if
No, no,
someone,
I'm-
the real analogy that you're looking for is if someone walks up to your friend and yoinks their wallet, are you going to run after them and chase them and kill them? Or are you
that
going
was-
to,
I was responding
or
to you.
are
I was
you
about
going
to say,
to punch them in the mouth? Or are you going to chase them and punch them in the mouth? Like they stole your wallet. Are you going to
My-
murder
Or
somebody
you can
for
look
it?
at your friend and say, "Aren't you gonna fucking chase him?"
my response was going to be,
Boom.
is that fighter no longer, capable because he doesn't want to get in a bar fight? Like, it's the same thing. That's what I
I
was going
feel
to
like you're
No,
no,
not
it's
really,
not.
because in Eve, okay, so Eve is not the real world, right? Like there are similarities between the real world and Eve
No.
to a certain extent,
Logic.
but like look at, so
Eve is real.
so I IFC a bunch of shit, especially now. Well, I'm in Dreadbomb and I do stuff like that. So the
Things
second
can
Aurora gets
change.
yeah, I know, right? It turns out there's not 30 fucking FCs on a goddamn roster. You actually have time to go out and do things properly.
Tell me that, but
So
say
so
less,
Rourke's
dude.
so Rourke's get tackled, and the first thing I think is like, so it's like it's a relatively panic situation. People are
Mhm.
panicking around you, and you're just like, all right, cool. Well, let's get X, Y, and Z together. Let's go do this. And I fucking love it, dude. I fucking love it. Like, come tackle the fucking Rourkes so I can fuck you in the face.
Yeah,
That's
I like
all
that.
I want to do. Okay, so I wouldn't worry too much about that kind of shit. What you guys need to do is come up with some kind of comprehensive plan to, I don't know, like a good comp, a good reaction plan, and make sure that your crabbers have some kind of protocol. Protocols are really important. Make sure that that's in your forums so that they can read it, and make sure that you keep spamming the link to the forum so that they know what the protocol is, so that when this shit happens, you
So
guys can respond. Because I guarantee you, if you use your numbers effectively, this is not going to be a problem for brave newbies. It just will not be.
the problem is it's 5 minutes. You have 5 minutes before that bank is drained and the people are gone.
Right. So when a Rourke panics, there's 7
Not
minutes there, right?
gone, still in your space. Continue.
They fill them out. Is what they do.
And that's
No, they can't.
that's one of like 3 different banks, by the way. Like,
Also,
Dave
they
puts a
can't
combat
film it.
timer.
They can
Continue.
film it out after they, leave the site, leave the area. But when they're in the site / the area, they can't film it out. They can't MWD. They're basically slow burning out of where they are, leaving the site, and then they can film it out.
So
I would
LB
just
brings up
recommend
a
something
point
like
that
nightmares.
LB, you should come on the show, dude. You should come on and talk with us. I'm just gonna say, you know the Discord link. You should come talk to us, because I like to read what you say, but I'd rather hear you say it.
By the way,
Anyway,
I've
so
heard
he says
none of
the
us will curse
plan
out it.
shouldn't be to bitch and moan, but the plan should be to react
I
appropriately to the
told you.
changing
I
situation,
told
right?
you all the plan.
And right,
We
you
have
did.
a plan.
So that is your plan, right? Your plan is to actively avoid any kind of like meaningful conflict, but
Why would
instead
I?
just burn everything down in a hail of gunfire, which
Why?
is not. Why would you? Because you want to provide content to people.
No. Why would I then subject someone else? Why would I force someone else who doesn't want content to undergo content? It doesn't
because they're playing the
they're
fucking
playing EVE
game. That's what the
Online.
game mechanics are
doesn't.
dictating. It's
It
not
doesn't.
up to you,
There's
Jeremy.
there's
It's
only
not up
one
to
way to
you.
avoid content in this game. Just
Stop
don't
playing.
play it. Don't play.
Don't log in.
Why?
Don't log in.
Why would I allow someone else's ISK to be negatively affected? It doesn't make sense. It's not good. It's not good businessmanship to
Okay.
Okay,
allow.
you want to know what else
affected.
negatively affects someone's ISK flow? Getting their ship blown up. There was
Yeah.
always that whole like, hey, they could lose ISK. It's called PvP. Literally, when you undock in this game, you are consenting to PvP.
I get it. Okay, and so when you come into my space, you're consenting to get your freaking T3C gang broken in half and sent across the galaxy again.
That is correct. That is
Yes.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
But we
So-
still do it because we want content, Jeremy. That's why
So,
BRB comes and
okay.
fucks with your assets, quote unquote.
So then you should be completely fine with just throwing your money into my fleets and dying horrendously. because that's part of the game, and that's content. So you shouldn't be denying content. That's content.
Yeah, if that's how it works out, Jeremy, that's how it works out. I
Yeah.
mean, I literally was just in a hurricane. Okay, I just led a hurricane fleet against a typhoon fleet that actually outnumbered us, and they dropped triage, right? And we were still
Triage with
fucking
hurricanes?
no, no,
Why
no,
would
no,
you
no,
do
Oh,
no,
you
no,
were the
no.
hurricanes.
Okay,
You were the
no,
Oh.
hurricanes. Okay,
we were
sorry.
the hurricanes. They were in typhoons. They had more than us, and they dropped fucking like 2 triage, and then they dropped the
Triage
third
doesn't
one.
matter. You use hurricanes. You use alpha damage. It doesn't matter their reps.
Yeah,
It
thank
takes
you,
like
Jeremy.
6
Thank
seconds to lock.
thank you for explaining to me how I ran that fleet effectively.
Okay.
Right? But
Well,
the point
it's
is that
not
I
rocket
I took the fucking fight, okay? And you know what? We lost a lot of hurricanes, but we also killed a lot of battleships, and it was a lot of fun. At the end of it, we came out as efficient, I guess. And it was a lot
Okay.
of fun. And everybody had fun, and everybody was super hyped because we took a fight that NULLSEC blocks don't want to take. All right, buddy?
Okay.
So when you talk about people not wanting to come at you and destroy their fleets, that's not really true. Those are like other null blocks. That's a null block mentality.
I
People
mean,
in low sec in the groups that I fly with have absolutely no problem like yeeting into like 1,000 fucking brave bros, or like Bjornby, for example, the guy that you talked semi-negatively about earlier.
I
Also,
love Bjorn. I
right.
love him. I really like him.
He runs a
That's
stream. He wants to get content. He goes to Brave Space. He goes to Horde Space. He knows there's going to be a lot of you. That's part of the fun. It's part of
Okay.
the fun, dude. It's part of the game.
I mean, if you just want to give me money through your dead ship salute, that's fine with me, I guess. We're just gonna super blob you now because that's the only option. The options are let the new bros that this corp is designed to protect have money taken from them, or turbo blob people. It's the
Here's
two
another
options.
What were you
option, right?
doing?
Turbo
What were you doing
blob
before,
people.
though? What were you doing
Turbo
before?
blogging isn't a new fucking thing.
You've been doing it the entire time, Jeremy. Like, let's
Well,
be honest.
okay, it's honestly we take the turbo blob like before it was a very spread out blob. You could get away with killing a ratter or doing some kind of cool stuff, right? We literally the position we are in now is we have to make sure all the ratters are in protected space. So they like and the ratters want to stay together in protected space. There's no
I know. Now
so
there's less protected space.
I mean,
Okay,
Ratters kind of did that anyway. Like,
but I mean
Right.
literally the way I've envisioned this is we are going to have designated like ratting areas that are protected with a standing fleet, like no more than 2 jumps out from the standing fleet, and we are just going to do that and lock
Well,
it
yeah.
down.
Jeremy, this mechanic literally prevents you from being able to do that. This new mechanic with the dynamic
Oh
bounty
my gosh.
systems
I literally
literally
just moved my
prevents
fleet.
you.
I literally take a gate and go somewhere else. It's not like some great hindrance. It's not this giant thing you're thinking of. And probably what's going to happen
That's
is
not what I'm thinking of. But
your
what?
small gang roaming fleet coming into my protected space will feed my dynamic bounty system. So actually, please do come and die horrendously where I am FCing at, so you can boost up how much money my friends
So
make. 'Cause
that's our entire. You just made our point for us because I don't understand what you're so fucking mad about, dude. That's the point we were trying to make this entire time. Is that it's not that big of a deal. You can evolve. You can overcome it.
we were just going to do what we did before. Like it's just
yeah, so nothing's changed.
So
So
it's
why
the
are you
same. It's the same
complaining?
shit. So why are you so angry about the
because
changes? I don't
first
understand.
off, it's a new space job. Someone has to figure out how that money is going to get to people. It doesn't make sense
It's
now,
very,
and we have
very easy. You
we
would
Yeah,
have
have
well,
to know how it
ESS
is.
equals
It
drama. I
pays
mean,
out
that's
automatically.
So
the reserve
here's
bank pays that
how
automatically after you.
here's how the reserve bank will work. So what's your corp tax right now?
It's like 10%.
Great.
Oh, that's it.
Make it
Nice.
0. Have somebody, an executive in the corp, go out and grab the ESS shit. Have somebody from the alliance do it. Boom. You don't pay out anybody. The alliance just takes the tax. That
Yeah, that
way.
actually makes
Whoa!
sense.
Holy shit! Wait a second. If the alliance takes the tax, if the alliance takes that and doesn't make the members pay taxes, then when someone steals from the ESS, they're stealing from the alliance, not the individual member. Whoa.
But we also, I mean, that's also a pretty big hit monetarily to an alliance. It's not. That's
What,
out of my.
50
Not
million
really.
ISK? You were talking earlier about how it's 50 million ISK for somebody to come in there and steal your shit. Like, it's 50 million ISK. It's 2 Horde Cormorants, for fuck's sakes.
No,
If that's going to
1.5.
be a big hit to your
1.5.
alliance, then someone in your
1.45.
alliance needs to swipe a fucking credit card, my
You guys,
dude.
I'm gonna go make a drink. You guys keep playing. Jeremy,
Why?
I don't
Okay.
understand. You've come full circle. You've come full circle into acceptance. Like literally
really
the
have.
I
conversation.
don't
It's very
like. Because
strange.
here's the thing. Because the only thing it does, like the objectives it set out to do, have been flipped on its head. All it is we are going to now condense, become safer, and we have a new space job.
But
Like,
you can't condense and become safer.
Because the second you
Yes, I
become
can.
safer, then you have to move, right? Like that's the
Okay,
point. So you're
that's
gonna have
fine.
to. So you're gonna have to come up with an
Fine.
actual. No, but I guarantee you, there is a min-max way. There's a min-maxed way to approach this, where you're gonna probably be cycling through systems. I guarantee you,
Okay.
there's a thing. It's gonna take a while. I'm gonna say that well, actually, the goons aren't gonna get to it first because they're getting FPA
Oh
right
no,
now.
they'll
But
have
they
the
would have
opportunity to do
probably
it.
figured
They'll
it
have
out.
the best
They'll have
ADMs
the
in
opportunity
the entire world.
because they'll
I
start
say
at zero.
make
EMS, whatever.
How about this? Become
Yeah,
really good friends
but
with
they're not
fraternity
right
because
now.
they're gonna be able to tell you exactly.
Yeah, they
Like,
will. Like,
talk to
so,
Norris. Talk to Norris, dude. He'll
But
know.
you have to be able to speak binary.
Oh my god.
So okay. So what
Oh,
this?
that was a Rich Richmond statement. Where the fuck is Rich, by the way?
I don't know.
So what this has encouraged
Beep boop.
is crop rotation in a new space job. Is the
Beep
end of the
boop.
day what it's done. It's not added anything really extra to the game besides less freedom.
Something to do.
Besides more content in
Besides
space,
more content,
right?
yeah,
It's not content. It's literally just
Content.
come
It may
in
not
my
be
space
content you
and
like, but
break
it
your
is
toys and leave.
It also gives people. It also, maybe encourages some people if they want to make extra money to, go to super dangerous systems with maybe T3Cs or something and rat there. Maybe do some danger ratting.
Good evening, Villy. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Billy, hi man.
Good evening.
We are just
We're
talking
having
about the
fun.
ESS changes. We are so. I mean, we were just discussing how it's not going to accomplish any of the goals it set out to do, and it's just bad for the game in general.
Except that it's literally, you're literally saying that it's going to accomplish the goals by saying that you're going to go out and kill those people, which is the goal that it is trying to accomplish, is to get you to go out and kill those people instead of docking up your fucking crab ship and being a little pussy. It's saying, hey, come out in space and kill this shit. And you're saying, okay, I'll go kill it. Boom, objective achieved.
You will get about as much content from me as right-click self-destructing that ship when you undock it.
You
It's
think
not
so?
going to be content. It's not
What are you
going
gonna
to be
do
fun.
to me?
I
What are you
will
gonna
make
do to
sure
me? You're gonna
that
drop super caps on me? They don't track my cruiser. They don't
I
track
will-
my
I will
cruiser
just
anymore.
bring
You don't
20 of
have
my
support.
friends.
You don't have a support frigate.
Anytime you undock a ship, you should assume it's not.
Bro, you gonna send? Are you gonna send a gang of frigates after my RD Loki? Because I swear to God, if a bunch of newbies and Atrons are right-click approaching me as I'm burning away, I'm gonna have a hell of a time. I don't give a fuck about your ESS, but I'm gonna smack those fucking Atrons with wrecking shots all day, dude. That's content, man.
Listen, listen. Literally just probes if you're going to do that first off. It's not like some big brain strategy because,
What are you gonna
You
warp on me?
you're literally just talking about how noobs don't know how to play or know how to defend their stuff. How are they going to know to use probes?
Oh, never mind. Atrons can't get into the ESS. I forgot.
Yeah,
It's
I was about
locked
to say,
by.
it's cruisers
It's
only.
locked with the kind of ships that can get in there.
Cruisers plus. So again, the plan is to make it so unfun for you to attack us that it's not even content, and you will just leave us alone. That's the plan.
Okay, what if
that's
someone
literally
tries to
the
attack
that's
and
the
baits you?
Imperium's plan right now, right? Like that's the Imperium plan in World War B2 that is failing miserably. You know that, right? Like you're tracking that that's the same plan.
That is the plan.
What's gonna make it different for you to make it work where these guys in the biggest alliance in the game can't do it?
It's
No matter how dumb you make it or hard you make it, there are people out there that's what they're looking for. The hardest fucking challenge they could find. It's not gonna
That's why
work.
we play. That's why we play this game, dude. That's the only reason I play Eve is because it's actually challenging. If this was easy, I'd
I am
say fuck
mentally
it.
challenged. That's why I play this game. Anyways,
Well, you know,
Not-
I don't
I mean,
think that's true,
cutting the
but
sense.
listen,
it is what it
the
is, right?
first Jeremy, the
I
first
now-
step is acceptance. Okay.
I'd point out that negative
the main
self-talk.
thing- Go
Negative
ahead.
self-talk actually has almost no bearing on your actual ability to do things,
I know.
according to latest neuroscience research. So you can keep talking shit
What did
about
you read that
yourself
on
all day.
BuzzFeed?
No,
I bet you read
well,
BuzzFeed.
dude.
You sound like a
I would-
BuzzFeed reader.
Don't.
How does the ESS?
I guess
How
I'm
you
gonna take
gonna-
offense to that actually a little bit. I was a chef, dude.
Oh,
Like,
you're.
I don't know.
I'm a waiter.
So
I
when did BuzzFeed
Oh,
start
well, you sound
making
like a
EVE
waiter, don't
Online
you?
content? Just curious.
Buzz Online is that the? It's the INN's alternate
Oh,
news
Eve
source.
Buzz? Eve Buzz?
Buzz-
Okay, so he reads Eve Buzz, not BuzzFeed.
Bromander.
Because
What if
remember,
I told
Wow.
this game
that
is
was literally
only
me, by the way? That
a chill
that is
gunner dude.
I am literally sitting. I will launch the. Okay, I will launch the fighters in that fort right now, and you can come look and see, because it's literally me in that fort. So for those of you who don't know, basically I've been living the past
Ooh,
4
it's
days
thunder.
as the PUIG Astra House gunner after I helped kill a goon carrier who was trying to ref the Astra.
So you're just there chasing the dragon for the next one, eh?
Basically,
Thunder?
I met the CEO of Amok and stuff like that.
Have you ever like maybe just thought about putting a jump clone in that Fort Desert
I-
and then
I
going
have
on with
it.
the rest of your life?
But what life do I have?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. You tell me. Like, you're in Brave. You're complaining about things that you're finding solutions to literally live on the stream. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm confused. I mean, I like having the discussion. It's very confusing.
I'm a man of
It's
many.
fun to argue both sides of the argument, right? I mean,
It's really not though. This isn't fun
I-
at all.
I really just like arguing for the sake of arguing a lot of the time.
no
Honestly,
way. We
like
did not pick
people call me. People get on here get really mad at me. Yeah, I find it really funny. People get so mad at me on like Reddit and like on Twitch and stuff like that. At some point, I just kind of realize I'm wrong. I just keep arguing because it's funny. People get really mad, and they just gotta learn.
Are you literally using the haha made you mad?
Yeah,
I
major
think
form.
so. Yeah. As long as you learn that you're wrong, I think you'll be fine.
I will
You'll be
admit
fine.
I'm wrong in private, but never in public, because that would diminish my grandiose image of myself.
I hate to break it
You
to you,
are
but
always
you
wrong.
literally just admitted that you know that you're wrong live on
No, I don't.
stream for 108 people. Which
I'm
is,
not wrong.
by the way, the
I never
number is
said that.
lower than usual. Yo, poke your fucking people. Let's get some more dudes up in this Twitch stream.
I
Peoples.
literally never said I was wrong. I don't know what you're talking about.
You literally just said, I know that I'm wrong, but I continue because it's funny. Ha ha, made you
Well,
form.
I'm not
You
wrong about
literally
this though.
just said that. I think you are, because I think you realize that we all have a point. Because at the end of whatever rant it is you got to, you were literally agreeing with what we were saying. So I don't know.
what kind of
Well,
lure did
it's
you
just-
use? You fucking hooked him, hook, line, and sinker.
Jeremy, I just want to congratulate you. You've been able to kill more brain cells in the past 15 minutes than Fleet 10 Dunning-Kruger platoon has in 2 years.
Good
Fucking
one. Fuck this. I'm going back to bed.
It doesn't matter if he wasn't able to jump out. He didn't abandon his fighters. He had fighters out and got tackled is what happened when everyone else pulled their fighters in. So why Protein died.
Jeremy, you literally just made Rich Richmond go to bed. That's like a new fucking record.
I go into like this avatar state, I guess. I don't know.
Wait. Are we crediting Jeremy with making Rich Richmond not be on the show?
It's a good day, gentlemen.
Jeremy, you're my new hero. I take back everything that I said. Thank you very much for your service.
You're welcome. Thank me for my service. No, it's just I don't see how this is going to accomplish anything that, because people still came and killed my ratters in Brave, like my court mates. I just don't see.
You can still kill the ratters. You can still kill them, and then you
I
can
mean,
go and
it's
take the
going to
money
be
too.
harder now. We have them all concentrated. Like we
Anyway,
have
I want to hear
dedicated-
from Billy.
Billy, yeah, you're smarter than me.
What are we talking about?
He's bitching about the new ESS changes and saying
Yeah,
how
what do you think
it's
about
going to
the
be
ESS
cancer, and then he has revised his position 6 different times, and now I don't even know where he stands on the issue, but basically he doesn't think it's good. We'll just put it that way.
I think it's good. I think it'll help encourage
Really,
people to space, and I think it'll encourage the roaming game a little. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but I definitely think it's something that will.
Billy, who have you designated to do the space job of handling all the freaking reserve bank crap in test? I'm curious as to the poor soul.
In the reserve bank crap.
Like, does the reserve bank pay out automatically after a certain time? I legitimately have to ask. I don't know.
I don't I don't know how it came out in the final iteration here. So.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone really knows how
Twitch
the fuck
chat.
the whole thing's gonna work out.
According to Twitch chat, the reserve bank also pays out automatically.
That's what people are saying, yeah. But I mean,
well, I mean, no one knows how it works. It wasn't in the patch notes.
No, so you need keys to pay it out. That's what I do know.
Oh. Joe, if you want to come on and explain it, dude, you're 1,000 times smarter than me, man.
well, I mean, he probably gives a shit. I think. Like, I'm not a NULLSEC leader, or I also do not have a corp in NULLSEC, so I don't really care how it works, and so I really didn't pay much attention. I did like how everyone was speculating. I did like people like yourself, Jeremy, who are very angry with the changes for absolutely no reason. Because like I said, there will be a min-maxed way to do this eventually. I guarantee you there will be. You're just gonna have to look at what the smart groups are doing, the ones who are actually able to rat. So
I'll
talk
just
to
look at what
Norris.
Owas is doing, honestly.
Talk to Norris. Norris will figure it out. I guarantee you, and then you'll be able to do it too.
Yeah, it's literally just going to be good for a little bit for content, and then it's going to be bad for content because we will figure out the most optimal way to kill people, and it will no longer be fun.
Surprise, surprise.
CCP will.
I don't know if that's true. So just because you find an optimal way to defend doesn't mean there won't be an optimal way to attack with you defending that way, right? It creates a play counterplay mechanic, right? So, if the optimal way for you to play it is to put 5 guys on the, ESS and to cover it, then sure, like yeah, you win, but you're also using 5 guys to sit there on the ESS. If the meta becomes, nightmares warping in, then nightmares will, have their own counters too, right? Everything has everything is playing counterplay, and just because you can counter something doesn't mean you can. How do I put this?
Yeah, I mean that's fair, and like the less dynamic version of this is literally just Rorquals. Like we go in, we tackle Rorqual, we start fucking around. Yes, they have a counter fleet. It's very
You
scary.
have a lot more time to respond to Rorqual, though.
But I also 7 versus. Well, I mean,
I don't know if you do.
Maybe.
So
I mean,
you have
it's
the
minimal.
The ESS, right? Once you press the button, it is 5 minutes. You have to wait 5 minutes.
Once the Rourke presses the button, it's 7 minutes, right?
But the dynamic is very different, though.
Yeah.
With a Rourke, you're on a clock to save that guy, and if you don't, he dies.
He dies, yes.
Yeah.
It's
with
very
the ESS, as soon as a roaming gang enters your space, you can identify if there's something that's good. Like if it's all frigates, then they're probably not going to be ESS trolling, right? But you can also identify that every roaming gang represents a threat to your ESS, whereas with
Phantasm fleet,
versus Oracle, where usually they're getting tackled out of a wormhole, and then you're forced to respond, right? The dynamic changes in terms of what forces you to respond. If they're in a system where they're just going to steal a couple ESS, maybe you don't care. Maybe you let them steal that 200 mil, right? And maybe there's 15 ESSs all lined up with 500 mil because you've been ratting hard. Well, then maybe those people want to switch out of their ratting ships and defend their stuff. There will reach an equilibrium where people choose to defend and where people choose to not defend, and that will depend on how the system operates, which is not how it's going to operate today, tomorrow, or even in the next coming weeks.
I mean, here's my thing. Like I said, so you just said something I said earlier. Every small game that has a cruiser represents a threat to the ESS. So if they are near one with a lot of money, they have to be dealt with maximum force. We can't maybe not kill it. We have to kill them. We have to eliminate them by any means necessary before they are a threat.
Well, okay, but that's not necessarily true. So again, let's go back to tackling a Rourke. So I come out of a wormhole. I want to have like 20 icky terses, right? And I need a force that will be to some extent able to, and not always, but able to counter whatever it is that's going to come at me. And so generally for these, we'd have dreads mitted or something like that. So we're actually able to counter it, right? It'd be a formidable force. For the ESS shit, you don't necessarily need that. Like I can go with 5 phantasms, right? We can be having some fun, and I can go and fuck with your shit. You have 5 minutes to respond, and maybe my 5 phantasms don't get what we want. We warp away because you guys are too scary. We just go to another place. We eat to another place, and we do it again, right? So it's not really the same thing. Like, you're not always going to be met with some kind of amazing group of people who are going to be out for your money. All right, it could
Or
be like 5 guys, and you're going to get a lot of good content out of that, my
And
friend.
no,
Or can
I will destroy you. I will not allow any good content because
Sure.
that
And
will
that's-
promote more money being lost.
Sure,
Which is
but
not
I
good.
mean,
that's still content, though.
it's still
not
content.
content.
It makes
Not
these
content.
static ass fucking places a little bit more dynamic, and I'm 100% for it, my friend.
The only
Hey,
new
you know
dynamic
what?
will be your looted Rex in my space.
Well, I mean, great.
It will not
Well,
be
you're
fun.
gonna have to prove
not
you
be
can
fun.
do that before don't
Oh shit!
putting your money where your mouth is. You gotta prove that you can do this.
You
Somebody
will
Listen,
told
there's
me
a
you went to
3-stage process. There is the insult, there is the assault, there is the looting, and then there's the exfiltration. Remember, you can't use
you exfiltrate yourself from the conversation soon.
afterburners inside there.
Yes, you
So, well, sorry,
Micro
you can't use micro warp drives inside there. And once you leave, once you get out with the loot, you're stuck with a fleet comp that uses afterburners. So, it's not just getting in to get the loot; it's also getting out and keeping the loot.
So once you get out, you just warp to safes, and you just continually warp to safes, and then you either fill them out, or you get your scepter buddy, insta-warp scepter, to get the tags, drop them and jettison them, and then run away in his insta-warp scepter, which no one can lock or catch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were brave. I thought you were capable of waterboarding somebody and constantly combat scanning them down, harassing them, and camping the gates and camping them in. I thought you were brave. I thought you were capable of that. I thought that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna get out corpses by doing that shit. Oh, I didn't know you were gonna pussy out after we got the loot. Fucking hell.
I mean, there's literally, if you put the money in an insta-warp scepter and then roll around to safes in a interdiction nullified like Loki, or cloak, like the cloak, you can't scan someone down when you're cloaked. I'd hope you know that as an elite PvPer, Richmond. If
Oh, of
you
course, but
cloak,
I think
and
I
cloak, you can't color. You can't
Guys,
I'd
this
accept. I
conversation,
just
this conversation feels dumb. Like
it
we're
is.
we're talking about, how somebody's going to, engage in the act of stealing or not stealing, and how alliances are going to defend and not defend. And it's like, regardless of how they're going to do it, I think it's good that they are doing it. I think it's good that alliances are defending their space, and I think it's good that attackers are trying to take things from alliances that have space. I think that means you have a more dynamic environment where there's more engaging content. I know it's not in favor of the PvE player at the moment, where you're effectively taking more of their bounties, but I think the balance has not necessarily been properly set before this anyway, so I don't know how to really evaluate it overall.
Can I talk about it just for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been looking at all the dev blogs and everything since they've been posting them, and I've been theory crafting with
Yep.
viewers and such. And today I've been watching the stream. I've also been out there doing it myself and checking out the ESS and how it works. And I've come up with a couple of strategies that seem to be working pretty well. One is you have a very reactive defense fleet that can use bridges and such to react to people getting robbed and go in there and wipe them out. That's what Fraternity's been doing all day, and it's been working really well. They've killed just about everybody who's tried to rob them, the big ones anyway. Then the other strategy, well, there's 3 strategies. The second strategy is if you aren't in a alliance that has a big crabbing component that's willing to go and do reactive fleets and such, then you can go and steal the bounty, steal the main bank yourself every 20 minutes, because it hits, like you get a ratting tick in 20 minutes of ratting, and then 20 minutes later, the money from that first tick hits the ESS. So you just gotta have a character in a really fast stabber 100 mm fit, go in there, steal it for 5 minutes, and then warp out basically, and then you continue on with your ratting. And with the 115% modifier that's out right now, you actually end up getting about the same ISK or maybe a little more ISK than you would with regular ratting before yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like I said, I don't mean I think that it's obviously. I hope everyone knows this. When I come on Trash Talk Tuesdays, I really do kind of put on for the show. Essentially, I don't think it's going to be as bad as anyone is doom and gloom making it out. What I think it does is I think it gives people who have access to money, who have access to linearly better modules, all that stuff, better skills. It gives them a much bigger advantage than people who don't maybe spend like a ton of money on one ship or one pod that they use constantly, like small gangers do. And I think it's going to be very lopsided for any alliance that has a large component of new players who maybe like I can't even fly. Let me even
How
look.
do small gangers get their money?
They plex and they live in wormholes.
We
Rich, is
rub our
that
hands
true?
together and we rub our hands together and shit gold. I think the biggest
A lot of them live in other alliances, and their alts are the ones that go out and do
Beep
small.
boop.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
the biggest well, speaking of beep
Billy
boop,
was
this absolutely does affect all
no
the beep boop.
No beep boops today. No beep boops.
No,
No
no,
beep
this
boops. I already
these
talked about
changes
beep boops. We
affect
don't need
these
beep boops.
these beep boops.
Dude,
I mean,
stop.
Just
The
fucking rob
only
them blind.
the only thing that
you
I
can.
noticed with that update, and this is, I think we should move on to one of the other topics since Billy's here. We can talk about a little bit of what's going on in the war. But one thing I did notice was very simply put that the update that they announced said that this would allow players to have more tools to catch bots in their corps. And I feel that it's pertinent to mention that, dear CCP, it is not our job to catch bots. It is yours. We pay you to play this game. You keep it clean. If you want us to catch bots for you, incentivize it. If you offer more than just an email, maybe we'll go out there and do it more often. And that is my point. Do you think that's a fair point?
Accurate as fuck, honestly.
Yeah, I mean CCP. I don't know.
Yep.
Actually, I have a. Speaking of CCP, we were talking about this in the pre-show. What do we think of that Reddit post that you can't even raise like 33% of NULLSEC systems past industry ADM1 now anymore? What do we think of that?
So on one of the upcoming shows that we're doing, one of the Sunday shows, we're gonna have a chat with Cable about that because he's the one who posted that. So we'll dig really deep into that though. But I don't think it's anything. I don't think there's anything to it. You can get ADMs up by killing gate rats and shit. There's still rats out there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for Redding. I don't know. I mean, if there is something to it, then I'm sure CCP will like issue some form of radical change, because that's what they
I
do.
don't know. The fact that Providence has no ore whatsoever to speak
Yeah.
of, that's a fucking joke.
I
Well, when
refit
did
my
Pravi ever
workforce.
actually have ore though? Like,
Ah.
I
There was no shortage of
definitely.
mining.
it's always been dog shit. Like, it's always been bad. The reason that Pravi block was in there for so long is because nobody really wanted to keep it. Like, let's be honest.
Well, instead of shit, you get nothing now.
Sure. Well, the low sec around it is great, so I'll keep that.
It's like saying the freaking chocolate coating on a turd is nice.
Well, we still have R64, so it's not like the end of the world.
I don't know. It's really weird to me to think that the game by default doesn't work. Essentially, like if you I always mean, if you wanted to go somewhere and raise the ADM solo without like just from scratch, it wouldn't work. But of course, that's not
Well,
something in
think about this
reality.
for a second. If you could raise the ADMs by yourself, and then you're in a 4,800 man alliance, what do you think would happen, dude?
I actually know someone who, Thelzar in Horde, if anyone knows him, he's a great dude. He goes to low ADM systems and solo raises them because that's what he likes to do.
That's a
That's
cool
not
project, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but that
So
sounds like a lot of work. I mean, to some extent, this was for the last several years. Well, I'm not gonna say several. The last couple of years, an empire building game. Like that's literally what it was, right? Like just
Yeah.
NULLSEC empire building. We're gonna make the biggest, best Factorio model that we can possibly do, and the goons did it better than the other ones, and the other ones are now
Please
fucking the
don't.
goons,
Please don't
and
say
blah blah blah.
Factorio anymore. Just don't say
Anyway,
the word Factorio.
why? I don't understand.
It's bad memories
Doesn't
of an hour and a
like
half ago.
Factorio. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. The point has been lost, dude, because I have no idea where the fuck we were going with that. But basically, I mean, this to some extent balances it out a little bit, just a little bit. It gives small gangs an opportunity to go have some fun and make some cash. It's not a bad thing.
All right, so we pretty much beat that shit into the ground. So, and in doing so, we also talked about the dynamic bounty system. We talked about all the stuff that was contained within that topic. Factorio is not amazing. Amethyst Adane. Aldane, don't ever say that again, or I will ban you from the Twitch chat. Anyway, so
we
let's
sometimes
move.
play Factorio together, dude. Honestly,
It's
it's actually fun.
It's actually really fun.
Anyway, continue. Sorry, my bad.
So let's move on. Villy, I know that you're not Fountain Frank, but do you want to give us a war update? Just what's going on in the south right now?
Sure. Last week, we broke the Null constellation in Delve. It did promptly get recaptured by goons, but we broke the entire constellation, so no jump bridges, no gens, etc. Goons restaged all of their capitals and supers from DTEC W to E3OI the day after we reinforced the DTEC WI hub and initiated their Helm's Deep plan to camp that gate with caps and run a big camp there and then defend those 3 ratting pockets. That's been underway for 2 days. We've just been steadily making progress on the systems we have had in Delve, just further securing them, retaking them, etc., trading them a little bit. Tonight, we reinforced the majority of that Null constellation again, which they'd retaken, as well as T5ZI next door to 1DQ, DTEC W, the former cap staging, JP4 and 23GC, which is 4 or 5 jumps from the head off to Fountain. And that's setting us up for big timers on Thursday night. And over the course of the last 2 days, we did or last weekend, I guess now, we did the 49U Keepstar Shield and Armor timer, and the Structure timer is tomorrow evening. And we anticipate that we will kill the 49U Keepstar at this point.
Yeah, but it's not in Delve, so it doesn't matter.
An absolutely beautiful kind of scenario on Remembrance Day, might I just say.
What's Remembrance?
So I just want to point out that Villy just gave us a proper update on what's happening in World War B2 with 0 spin. Wow. It can happen, guys.
No.
Someone
There's
tell Fountain Frank.
spin.
Someone tell Fountain Frank.
Write this shit down. Write this shit down.
Billy, tell us how.
All capitals were moved out of DTEC W. I know that for because I didn't.
Okay.
If that is all true, how are the goons winning this war, Billy? Please.
So the goons took 1 iHub in Esoteria 2 weeks ago, and they killed 1 iHub in Esoteria about a week ago that we took back. So they've taken an iHub and so they killed a jump bridge and well, there was no jump bridge there, but they killed the iHub upgrades in 1 system in Esoteria.
Is this the northern?
They killed a hypothetical jump bridge. I love it.
Wait a minute. Wait a
sure
minute.
it's 1?
Vinny, is this the northern fucking line that Ferrata harasses all the time?
This is actually deeper in. This is in the
Oh,
Moose Pocket.
fuck.
We lost Otako like the first day of the Red Alliance swap, basically, because we weren't really expecting Red Alliance to actually show up with anything, and the commander on the field at the time just wasn't really ready for it. So we kind of got surprised and lost Otako. And they've held the iHub there. We haven't really put a ton of effort into retaking any of that stuff. And then we lost VL7 this week, just because it was in one of those weird time zones where nobody was paying attention until like 40 minutes into the timer. And
Is
then
there a Keepstar in G
I
Magic?
farmed up and we couldn't save it quick enough. No, there's not a Keepstar in G Magic. There's Keepstar in OSIF, but not in G Magic. Oh, and that's right. Initiative reinforced the Keepstar in OSIF on Saturday, and the timer regened without any opposition on Monday or whatever it was.
It's very strange to hear an alliance leader a NULLSEC alliance leader, mind you, on a stream, being actually like to some extent honest about what was going on.
We're not talking.
That it's a
Esoteric-
little
one
weird.
might not be the right fucking term if you look at the map there. That's not one.
I'm surprised Red Alliance got that
Whoa,
victory. I
so-
thought you were gonna glass them into the dust for their betrayal.
What did I not say correctly about Esoteria?
One system in Esoteria.
Yep.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 controlled by Bastion. 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
but those have been controlled by Bastion for over a month.
I didn't mean total. I misunderstood you. Okay, I thought you meant that's all we have.
Like we lost that entire string of Ferrata systems like during I think the FWST Keepstar Timer number 2, and we have made no effort to recapture them. There was 2 of the systems that were closer to DP, Joud and HAJ, I think it is, that are both in that we retook, and we fought a little bit over those, but those are the only 2 we've actually bothered with.
We fought a little bit back and forth. There's 2.
Say again, sorry?
There's 2 of them we fought back and forth. One of the ones that the Russians have has gone back and forth. You guys have taken it back once, and then they took it back. That was part of that fight.
The Russians.
I don't believe so. None of the ones we've retaken we've lost, as far as I'm tracking.
So I do have some additional questions, just in general, and you have to forgive me. I'm a lot less objective than you are. I'm generally more full of spinning because that's just the way that I live my life. So I want to ask you about the 49 SAQ Keepstar. Was there any opposition to that at all?
So the original reinforced, there was no opposition. The Sunday night, I believe, where we were doing the reinforce, there was they formed about 400 dudes, and then there was an incident with Asher and his real life and some stuff, and so they chose not to form basically.
During his absence, has there been appointed somebody to temporarily take over his job?
He's back. He's back now.
Oh, he's back now.
Yeah, it's not.
But what about like at the time?
No, there was nobody. So nobody.
So nobody stood up to lead the defense, so there was no defense, and we just reinforced it pretty effortlessly. We put 30 Titans at range. We shot the Keepstar. Boat showed up in an interdictor and bubbled us a couple times, and that was literally the entirety of the defense.
Asher and
one,
Goons formed FC.
One big thing I wanna ask you on that is that when the war first began, we were told that we would pay for every inch that we took. We would pay in blood for every Keepstar that we reinforced. Did you expect that we would be paying clearance prices on these Keepstars?
Putting them on layaway.
Clearance prices.
That was my joke, damn it.
Honestly, like this is, they actually formed up more resistance than I thought they would for 49U. True story. 49U is, it's Aquarius. It's a double mid away. We have a Sino Jammer. Like, it's just like, it's not something where I think they would be super thrilled about trying to defend it, I guess you could say.
Where we did form up, even if that had not happened with the real life, we didn't have enough to stop you.
Yeah. You guys had 400 and we had 1200, right? So I mean, like a flat, 3-1, and when we have supers under a jammer is like nobody's that insane.
Really, when are we gonna attack the first
gone-
Keepstar at Delve?
There are people who are that insane, but
I
we
would have
wouldn't-
gone in 100%. That's
yeah.
why I
Red
don't
line?
FC super caps.
Well, they had snuck in 70 caps under the jammer the night before, but so there was like some level of like cards to play, but it's just not even remotely enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, and the caps they did bring in, they just kind of left before the timer even started. Like I was in system ready to stream like a big fight because I was like, yeah, there's gonna be a big fight. I know they got super caps in that their Keepstar, but then it fizzled out and I just went to bed. It was all good. But I think that was because Asher was missing. Like he was there.
Well, that was the reason given, but I mean, as it was,
we didn't have the numbers anyway.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's gonna try and say they actually did have the numbers to contest.
Right, and I would agree with that. I wish that for once you would actually hear somebody say that. That's not us.
Wow, that's
I
hard. The second they start admitting that they don't have the numbers to contest timers, it will start to. It will start to. How do I put this?
start the
Instill the
fail
panic, I
cascade.
guess you could say.
Yeah,
Not
but I
necessarily a
don't.
fails cascade, but like a
But I
panic,
think
right? And
I
it's
think
important
there
to
could be a
understand because
controlled
the
panic.
narrative has been built. The problem is that they've narratively built themselves on, you know, certain other elements of this, right? And it, if they counter their own narrative, it hurts them way more than it perhaps should to just say, we can't do this or this is outside of our ability to do kind of thing.
I mean, I can see that, and then at the same time, I need to think that it would be nice to see if somebody would just, you know,
You mean
take the initiative and say, hey, we got beat. Like, we're getting beat right now. We need to think about, you know, what our next steps are, and actually objectively talk about the things that are going to happen next,
Redline,
because they're all
let
holed
them.
up in E3OI. They're not going to keep that forever. I give it 2 weeks before they've lost that pocket.
like that, or do you mean like to the fleet? What do you mean
I
by
mean,
that?
to the
The fleet?
line, like to the line, like on a fireside or something, which yes would be public, and then
You're talking
immediately trolled in
media,
public. Huh?
like an immediate situation, not like just the fleet members who are there, right? That's what you mean,
Well, the thing is
correct?
though is that you've got INN, right, which is literally just it's a pulpit for the Mittani
State TV.
sermons, and that's what it's marketed as. That's what it is. So like I saw one time that they were saying that basically the only reason they do it is to make the other side mad. But like I was past getting mad at like the meta show and shit like that a long time ago. Like at this one, I wouldn't expect anything different than rah rah rah. We're winning. We'll always win because we're the best that's ever been, and there's nothing you can do about it. So eat my ass or
I feel.
whatever the
I
Matani's
feel
new
like.
thing is this week.
I feel like it used to be. So like. So you're right. The meta show was like, this is our state TV shit. This is our spin boys. But my firesides are going to be for you. Like that's for you, right? And
Sure,
it was
yeah. So when they do firesides, it's basically like one of the first firesides I actually was privy to listen to was the Matani saying, "Hey guys, you're doing great defending against tests," and as they try to make their, you know, their efforts in period basis, and they try to push, and you're doing great. Like they're not able to because you're stopping them. And then 30 minutes later on the meta show, he's saying test isn't doing anything. They're worthless. So it's obvious that
right, right, for sure.
it's one story versus another.
But my point
But
is though is that now, right, they're painting themselves into a corner from a narrative perspective because they can't just for whatever reason be honest with their line members to a certain degree. There has to be some degree of, well, hey guys, we got this great idea. It's called Helm's Deep. Have you guys ever seen Lord of the Rings? Because that was such a great idea. Let's go do that.
Well, here's the thing. You have the Gunsworn Federation, the Imperium is effectively a space fascist empire led by a single charismatic leader. As soon as he loses his charm and calm, things fall apart. I mean, he's done everything he can to dehumanize all of his enemies and put them
I don't
as less
think
than people. As soon as you start losing, you think, how could these less than people, how could these virgins and incels be winning against us?
I
You
don't
have to
think
find a scapegoat, and he's running out of goats.
I don't think the Matani has lost anything. I think that reality is catching up with the narrative. And I liked how Headliner put it on TIS a couple of days ago, or was it yesterday, where he said that it just seemed like there wasn't a lot of ideas in their idea box or whatever the fuck it is that he said. Like which is like fairly accurate. It's like, well, this is what we got because this is what reality actually is, and it doesn't line up with what our narrative should be. But we should be super hyped that we have the opportunity now to fucking fall on our sword over here in this Compass Systems, and that's what we're gonna do. Hurrah!
Doesn't fit their personality, and thank you for letting him into the show. Doesn't fit their personality on some level either. True, you can't admit defeat in this because then it really crumbles. But there's an element of personality. I've been against the goons for a long time. I've met these people in person. Even in person, there's this big dick bravado, as they like to say, and there's an element where you just can't admit defeat.
Even if they've been dog shit at the game for a significant amount of time, they've had numbers, and you're right, their identity as a group has been tenacious grinding, going, invading, being tenacious, grinding
Invading
shit down.
everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I was, so I was an FC in Pravi when the goons came and invaded Pravi to see how Fuzzy South was going to play out, right? And since then, I've been in, personally in what, 2 or 3 goon invasions outside of that, and so like I've been invaded by goons like 3.5 times, we'll say. Um, like myself, like I've just been like as a player, just there for that. That's cool, but they've kind of established an alliance identity or a coalition identity where they're going to be tenacious, they're going to do the things that you don't like, they're going to be those people, and it's going to hurt. And even if they're dog shit, there's so many of them that it's fine. And in this reverse role where they're the ones defending, they're outnumbered, they don't play very well. That their rhetoric does not play very well. Like they've always been able to spin, well, you guys are horrible at the fucking game and you mine a lot, but at least we're the winners because we're the best. And they've been able to spin it because there have been victories. Obviously, they've been a very effective alliance/coalition.
There's an element of fear, right? There's also an effective element of fear
Well,
to a degree,
there's a
right?
thing about getting your space taken over that they might not be quite so accustomed to.
No, I
Because
mean the reverse side, right? The reverse side is for years they've held the fear button. We will just
yes,
curb stomp you. We'll talk shit about you. We'll make you feel bad. We'll make you lose members. We'll make you just eat shit and then come back and say thank you, right? There's this element that's part of the persona and how they carry themselves, how they act, and all their messaging, and even in local and even in one-on-one conversations. On the whole, it's just the bully, and the bully wins up until the point when the bully doesn't win. And here we are.
well, I think, and that's actually a really good point, Randall, because I think that like we saw just before the war, right? We saw a period of time where the goons had alienated, I'm going to say, the last of the really good subcap FCs, and there were other subcap FCs that stood up and picked up the mantle and continued on. But we saw some really, really, really big feeds, from the goons against um, equal or even inferior PH numbers. And like I was in all of those fights just because like me and a couple of corpies went down and like just tried to fuck around and see what was going on. We were kind of late to the party. I couldn't really call a fleet at that point, but we burned down and saw what was going on, and they were like getting their asses handed to them like time after time after time. Kind of became a thing, and it was kind of like, I don't know. It just seemed like the writing was on the wall to a certain extent in terms of what they were actually capable of doing as a group at that point.
Yep.
Then forces came in, right? So Pappy or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves, Anaconda, I don't know, came in, did their thing. And then Mins was very spin to a certain extent and thanked them for uniting them, because it's like, well, if it wasn't for you, we would have just died. But now that you're here, like you've reunited the goons. This is going to be great. And now we're in a position where it's probably not so great, and they're running out of rhetoric. And honestly, dude, like I'm not even part of this officially. I show up for the big shit, but I enjoy the fuck out of this.
So yeah, and Drissus Nero was talking in stream about goons have been evicted before, but I think that's like before time, right? It's been a long time, and there's
there
an
was
element.
The before
Yeah,
time.
there's an element of where they play the long game, always have, right? They'll just wear you down and make you pay with blood of every inch. It's the same rhetoric, and in the past, it's worked because honestly, fighting the goons is really about one thing: persistence, persistence, persistence. And if you can persist through the whole thing, you will win. But that's usually that's in the past where they've won. Another way to say it is commitment, right? And hopefully, this time commitments not going to work in their favor.
Well, I mean, if you're getting your shit pushed in as an alliance or a coalition, like you have nothing but persistence, or like you can start bleeding members. Like you have to remain confident. To some extent, like when you position yourself so strongly at the beginning of an overwhelming war, I don't think you have much of a choice. I've been in wars where the goons have come in, and the sensible alliance leaders were like, look, we're going to be massively outnumbered. We're going to do what we can. This is the plan for now. We're going to tell you more later. It was very honest. Everyone knew what they were to expect. We
And that's what happened in
we
Tribute.
fought where we could fight, and we retreated where we had to, right? And that's a perfectly
That's
respectable position to take.
that's
That is
what
not
happened in
that is
Tribute and
not
Vale.
exactly, and that is not the position. That's what I'm referring to. But that's not
Oh,
the
okay.
position that the yeah. I mean, that's literally what I was referring to because I was, there. But
Sorry, you
that is
didn't
not
say
the
Tribute and
position.
Vale, so I was like, are they talking about Tribute and Vale?
Well, I mean, I wanted to remain relatively. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I mean, yeah. Sure. So Vince and Killa and all the other Alliance figureheads were relatively honest. And charitable to a certain extent, said, look, this is what we're going to do. We have a plan. We're going to tell you more later when we can, but this is what we're going to do. And, let's hope for the best. And that's what we did. And the whole thing turned out fine. And we didn't lose massive amounts of alliance numbers because the goons were coming in and pushing our shit. We just moved to the next place. And that's where we live now because that's where we have to live. And, it's all good.
The Eve
That's
cycle
not
of life.
Right, but that's
Right.
not what the goons fucking did. The goons were like, oh, well, we're going to be fucking strong. We're going to do this shit. And I'm like, okay. So I argued on this show that the goons would never field a super fleet because that would be absolutely stupid, that they'd somehow find a way to do the whole, Fabian, Saarinen bullshit that they did the last time, which probably saved their fucking bacon, right? For whatever fucking reason, that's not what they opted to do. So they've painted themselves into a corner. They've also like from a rhetoric perspective, but also literally they've painted themselves into a corner.
Right. They're in
So
the corner of Delve now.
it's absolutely amazing. I'll stop
So
talking.
no, you're good, dude. You can talk all you want. You got a lot of good points. So as we move further, into Delve, I mean, as a resident of Delve, Dom, you saw firsthand how the response to the system next to your staging system being hacked. What do you foresee in this without shitting on your alliance? Because obviously I don't want you to do that, because I know you like where you are. But what do you realistically see from the rest of this? Let's just say the rest of the month.
Honestly, the way I see it is, I don't know that. I think everybody will condense down to one DQ, and we'll sit there. You camp us in for however long you want to. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. That's just a fact of life. I don't know. I mean, I guess one DQ becomes the Saarinen thing again. You guys get bored and go away. I mean, I don't know what else you can do. I don't think we'll leave. I mean, and I don't know that you guys necessarily want to kill all those structures. I mean, you could. You might. Want
I can guarantee you right now, the
You're gonna kill
plan is
all-
to kill every single structure in Delve without exception.
Commitment.
Go for it. That's fine. I believe you. But I'm saying is, I don't. That from my standpoint is, I see us contracting back to one DQ and becoming a fucking quagmire at that point. But which still screws the goons over, because if we're stuck back there and there's no ratting, there's no mining, there's no money, eventually then we'd be able to through material you'd be able to defeat us. That's a thing. I mean, that's so. Hopefully we don't do that, but that's what it feels like we're doing.
And
I'm hoping
Billy,
that
what do you? Oh, sorry.
Strategy, and when we break out, I mean, I don't have it. That's not me, so I don't I don't know.
I thought you guys were going to be the new kings of Esoteria. I thought that's what the plan was. Dom, I'm confused.
Just me.
Just you're going to be okay. Fair enough.
Just 4 of us
So
are doing
and
it. Yeah.
and just looking at it, objectively again. So the E30I move, that was specifically to protect the crabs, correct?
That's the way.
That was the move.
That's kind of how it's being sold, yeah. To protect those 3 crab pockets.
And it's doing it. It's doing it pretty well, right?
No.
You guys decided to jump in there with more than we have.
So I mean, if you look at the ADM in those pockets, it very clearly shows there's not that much riding activity in those pockets.
Honestly, all it did was wake up all of our Black Ops people, and they got really hungry really fast.
Yeah, like you can cyno-jam these systems, but you can't save your ratters in there. Like if you add up all the NPC kills in those 3 constellations, it's under 30,000, which is literally one good super rider in the drone regions.
Well, yeah, and they're not super ratting anymore or anything like
So
that.
all of
I know, but that's my point, right? 30,000 kills in the last 24 hours is not much ratting activity for all the effort that's being expended to cover those 3 pockets. Because you realistically still can't rat there, because if your Myrmidon undocks, there's literally the Kovop gangs getting mad at each other because they're killing each other's targets too quick.
So most of the ratting and delve are going to be restricted to that pocket and a few select
Make an effort for
systems.
Yeah.
That's
Well, when you say that,
What I'm
though,
getting to the point of unfortunate is the fact that my guys are just burning through systems so quickly. Like they're like, okay, yeah, we could burn another like 12 right now, but after these 3 are done, we're gonna go ahead and go home because they're not giving us any resistance anyway.
look, I'm appalled at the rate that you guys have been fucking this shit up, because like I was fully prepared to go like do a full Covops fucking movement with like fleet deployment, whatever you want to call it, with a few guys that I like and my corp, and go have some fun. And then now it's like we're restricted to X amount of like systems, and then you have like all of like fucking NC dot, PL, Test, probably Brave, all the other fucking people like in there as well. This is to a certain extent very aggravating, because like you've literally taken away all targets.
I've literally gotten to the point where I've started taking my fleet around to do a couple ratting sites on the way back to pay back for the ammo that they spent bashing your guys' structures.
Well, I mean, what we're doing a little bit of now is we're starting to cycle in structure bashes with the iHub attacks a lot more effectively. We killed a Fortizar in TCAG, for example, tonight. We reinforced like a couple other Fortizars, a couple Athenors reinforced today, a couple Ritarus. Like we're just starting to sync things together so that we've got a much more fluid schedule where we've always got targets of opportunity arising for us.
I mean,
But
Dominic,
something
like,
I've noticed too, like pacing wise, there's always something to do.
Well, I mean, you have so many groups. Like, so traditionally, if you're aligned with PH in a war, PH are the guys who go out and grind shit. But if you're aligned with Brave in a war, Brave are also the guys who go out and grind shit. So now you got Brave and PH, and the rest of people who just like feel like they have to. And I mean, like, as much as you can say that there are like X amount of there's millions of fucking structures in Delve, and you're never gonna get to all of them. I kind of feel like like you guys got the guys to do that shit. Like that's just gonna kind of be how it is, and it's gonna hurt. And then they can do what they want with the fleets, and they like the second they try to protect something, then everyone else is gonna have a lot of fun.
Commitment to the goal.
Yeah, which I mean is kind of like it's staggering to me when you say, well, we have X amount of systems in this region. Good luck, and it's like you tell that to like dudes in PH, like because you have like FCs who actually want to make names for themselves in these groups, and they kind of get downgraded to only being able to do those kinds of things. But if they do those kinds of things in like this epic fucking war, they might actually become something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, one of the common things people don't understand as an FC is that the majority of the fights you get usually start bashing a structure or attacking an iHub or whatever else, right? People often think that like you just go out there and you get a fight. It's like, nah, usually if there's an objective forcing a fight, that's how you actually get the
yes,
fights that make, allow you to achieve greatness, right? Like I think the big fight I had actually during last week's Trash Talk Tuesday, I was literally I formed a fleet to go shoot into Astor House, and then people started trying to gang pile me, and then you kick their ass, right? Like that's how you get those opportunities to have those fights.
yeah, people actually have to be out there grinding the structures. Like that's how it has to.
That was a fantastic Harpy fleet, by the way.
And if you're a budding FC, you heard it here. Go out and do stuff. Go out and do, just dumb shit. Things will happen.
Wait,
The
you guys
moment
are-
that
you
we
guys are
stand
out-
down, we've got our other FCs that are immediately pinging social bash fleets, social roam fleets. Like it's nonstop.
You know, I
all
want
the way
another
around.
Goonswarm FC to come try to bash my Astraus and PUIG, because this thing has killed more than it's worth, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm just saying, if any Goonswarm
Don't worry,
FCs
dude.
are out there.
I'll go bash it after this talk show. Don't worry.
Dude, I'm literally sitting in it right now. This thing has killed more than it's worth. I don't know, Amok? I want to trash talk Amok for a second. I met some dudes from Amok. They're great people. I love you all. But I've never seen a corp warp in bashing ships. Literally like a conga line. Like I would lock up like a Goonswarm Amok ship, like an Oracle, kill it. Then his friend in the other Oracle would come in. I would lock him up, scram it, kill it. and this happened like for multiple ships.
AMOC.
Amok,
Say
whatever.
say no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally say no
Uh,
more.
I
Like
feel like some people
it's
say
AMOC,
amok,
dude.
but I mean, yeah, that makes
No, I mean
Yeah,
I'm
we
just in
even
general,
got
like,
guys out bashing the Pocos.
oh my
I'm just
God.
looking at my timer board.
Oh,
Look,
Jesus.
I mean,
there's a
our
saying.
guys
Wants to
have to
bash
have
Pocos.
something to shoot.
Wow.
There's a saying: always take the bait, and also you'll do anything for content, anything.
Well, my point was though, is when you downgrade it to we have X amount of structures to bash, like you might not get the best FC doing that shit. There will be an FC in one of those alliances who is willing to go and do that because he probably
And you
hasn't
know
run a
what?
fleet in the last couple of days.
That's
Some
the
of
best
us
FC for
SCs
the job.
enjoy doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
The FC
I mean,
that
some
you're
of us
willing
some
to go out there
enjoy
and do the
blowing a
work.
structure up.
Look, some FCs actually need to do that because they want to move
They
up.
hate
And if you're going to move up,
themselves.
you have no. If you want to move up and you're in a large null block as a starting FC, it's an incredibly difficult position, and I can sympathize because I was there. All right, I was there.
I
So
don't.
they want to literally like, I want to take up fleets, and if all I can do is this, then that's what I'm going to do because that's my role. And you can either be a little bitch about it, and not do it, and then never become an FC, or you can fucking bite the bullet, get some guys going, and fucking do it. But the point is the content doesn't happen unless those FCs literally go out and do things.
Yep.
But
Like
it's
I'm
also
sitting.
That is a really good point, and I hate to interrupt that conversation, but I have to wake up early and go to work tomorrow. So we gotta start doing our
womp
thing where
womp.
we give our final thoughts. But next week, on this show, what I'd really like to do. So if you're an FC and you're watching this, I'd really like to get a bunch of actual FCs on here and just talk about leading fleets. Just talk about FCing. Talk about the thing that I enjoy most about EVE Online, and see if we can have a good conversation about it. But
I'd come, but I'm not an FC apparently.
well, Crab
Yep.
Lord.
Just
Crab Lord. I love that title. That's really good. I'm gonna put that in my
Yeah,
No,
we
no,
didn't get a
no, no.
chance to
Slack.
Clip,
talk about the
clip this.
super
Clip
vat
this right
bays.
now.
Ugh.
Clip it right now, and fucking put that in your bio. I think it's worth more.
So do
Also,
we
That's
want to?
get
I
that
mean,
little bit where I was also quite
so with
smart.
the
I think
super
that was
cap
good.
vat bays, there's not really a whole lot to talk about with them. Like, honestly, so this is my opinion on it, is that they're not really going to see a whole lot of use. I mean, do we know if the super capital is untethered while it's doing its clone vat
I
thing?
believe it does not.
It does not. It does not on tether, which is ridiculous.
I
Okay,
can
so
tell you,
if
I was looking for. I actually tried to get one of my guys to build a recloner for tonight, but
yeah,
they couldn't get it built in time, and I was really hoping we get to use it already. So
limit
I'm
to the
definitely
number
looking
of
super forward to them.
so you think that they're gonna? All right, fuck it, we're extending the show. No more final thoughts. We're gonna talk about the super clone, the super vat base, because so
It's
do
worth
you?
it. That's why.
So
or
do
is it
you actually think that it's gonna see use?
I
Like
would have used it
wide
tonight
use?
and prepped them tonight if I could have gotten one built in time.
In a giant war, I think that it will see some use outside of the
Hi, here's a
giant
spawn
war.
point where you can spit out fucking new logistics and command ships, and
Yeah,
new
yeah.
eagles and like sacrileges. Like
New tackle ships.
how is this not new Entosa ships? Like how is this not going to be used? Like the fact that you have to move a super in, like okay, like
Okay, no big deal.
they've
New
got all kinds
Titans
of
in
defensive
regularly.
advantage, like to pre-position these supers, and we've got all kinds of offensive advantage in terms of super caps. Like to
Can
me,
I
it
make
seems odd to think that we wouldn't be using them.
can I make a
So
point that no one
Honestly,
else?
I think CCP did this for us. To be truthfully honest, I
we
mean,
need a
this war
commercial.
it's perfect for. I think.
Yeah,
We need a
no.
why do we
commercial
need a
where
commercial?
Billy. We need a commercial where Billy's like slaps top of Nyx. This bad boy can fit so many reships in it, or whatever
Oh
the
my god.
fucking meme is.
Meme squad, make the
Can
meme
I
right now, please.
Where's persistence? Like,
can I quickly make a point that no one else on stream currently has made? If you take the new changes to that and you equate and you push them into what is going on with the ESS, you could literally have, if you had riding ships out, you could literally have like response fleet on demand in terms of
Yep.
going into the ESS, they die, they come back, they get into a phantasm, they go out, they die, they come back. Just saying.
Well, the recloner has to be in the same system. It doesn't quite work like that.
Right, the super would have to move with the fleet into the same
Right, so you
system.
just sign on to a Fortizar, right? You just have a super that signs on to a Fortizar, but you have the super full of all of those ships, like whatever ship it is that your alliance decides is the ship that we're going to counter or use as a counter for the ESS shit, and then like that could be part of your thing.
Well,
Could it
technically, you
not?
can just have the super on grid with the ESS. I don't know if you knew that. or
With
not.
the
Super-
gate.
The supers can come in with,
With the
no. It's
gate,
a it's
yeah.
a fucking it's a well yeah I guess, but it's a fucking it's a whole faction warfare thing, is it not?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I saw a
I
screenshot
thought
earlier
Battleship
of
was
a.
the largest you could go.
I saw a screenshot earlier of a super, or not a super. It was a regular carrier, but it was setting 10k, 10,000 kilometers away from the bubble, on grid with its fighters out, which doesn't make any sense to me. But
Really?
maybe I was seeing something different. I don't know.
I don't
It
think
looked like he
I
was.
kind of
Somebody
feel like
posted
that
it in the
was
Twitch chat.
kind of feel like that's not part of the changes that we thought were gonna happen.
Yeah.
I thought the idea was there weren't gonna be carriers in the fucking space where the solo PvPers want to have their thing. That's what I thought.
Anyways,
but I could be wrong.
my thought on the vet, I guess I didn't think about just putting like the key ships in it and not like I thought about a super cap just like filled to the brim with DPS ships or something like that just for instant reships, but it makes a lot more sense just to keep like reshipping DPS from a Titan in another system and then just bring in like the command and logistics ships and have those pilots be tied to that super and just have them reship. That makes a lot more sense actually. And it would actually be so good for like defensive brawls, like as far as battleship
I mean, it
stuff is
depends on how many
concerned.
supers you bring in, right?
Anyways, as
Well-
I said, I was hoping to use it tonight because I think this shit is like combat level, like red in terms of its ability to change the dynamic of fights. Like so.
Do you think it's something that we'll see goons use quite a bit?
I don't know. They don't actually like as much as they like to like consider themselves innovative. We'll see.
Well, I mean, we all know that they're slow to the gun. They didn't use hacks for like 6 years, so.
I made the meme.
You did make the meme, but you didn't put Villy's face on it. You gotta put Villy's face on it, Rain.
I put the name on it.
No,
God
you
damn
gotta
it.
put his face on there. You
God
can't
damn
just
it.
you can't just do that. All right.
You
Well,
know what? I'll one up you, Rain. Give me
Oh,
a
are you gonna
moment.
post one?
Oh yeah, I'll even slap the faces on. Let me go find out the list of all these leaders involved in this war.
Oh God.
I just want Billy's face on it.
Well, anyways,
Oh,
so I
boy.
mean, do we have more to talk about with the super cap vat change? Like I said, it's not really something
It's gonna be
that there's
super
much
annoying.
to talk about. We have to see how it's used first.
I can't wait for I don't know, like keep very close eye of pauses that have supers in them because they might very well bounce off of a fucking stick and be there for you.
This sounds like something that you have personal experience with.
Well, he's not wrong. You traditionally could warp a super to a posted 0, and there'd be no real risk of bumping out, and now there will be. So.
No, there
It's
definitely will be.
What do you mean?
It's mass like so your super was X
Oh, the
size when
size,
you
the super cap size. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was X size when we started, and now it's much, much, much bigger. So that's a problem. I mean, it might not be a problem, but for certain people in pauses, it might actually very well be a problem. People who do not have the foresight to maybe change their bookmarks.
I actually
might
really
have
like the
some
size change. I think it's it both adds something to the game and makes the game a little bit better in terms of the way it tactically plays out on some things.
It
makes
is
me feel
pretty
like
cool.
a man if you're asking me, but that's all I have to say. Yeah, I mean, so the size difference, like, so when you're signing up,
Size
and like
does matter.
obviously
Is that what you're gonna say?
there's gonna be, yeah, totally. There's gonna be a definite spreading of the supers, which might actually lead to less goon attempts to bozoning, which I'm against because the last time they tried that, we got on a lot of fucking Titan kills. So that's bad. Thanks CCP for that. But
It's so funny that whole incident. Now I look back on it, I'm just like, it was so fucking dumb. Like at the time, like they're warping, and you're like, oh shit, and then it happens, you're like, yeah, that's what I thought. And then like after like 2 months later, I'm like, it was only 16 Titans dead, only 30 supers, and it's like, Just another like the context of that, the size of those losses. That's like the 5th largest like battle in the history of Eve, right?
Yes.
Like
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
it's just crazy in that context.
But
Was
it doesn't
What
amazing.
would have you
feel
done differently then? If you
Not
were?
no, whoa. Not fucking relying on like some pipe dream fucking scenario to play it in my mind. Like that's what I would have done differently. Like it's like,
I mean, we're always trying to live a pipe dream,
dude,
guys.
in
That's what
in a
we're here for.
perfect circumstances, would that have worked?
Perfect
If
circumstances. Like what's? I mean, he actually has enough Titans too.
so, they actually don't have 25. They have more than that, so they're not retarded. And then secondly, there's like I don't know, there's not a lot of spread going on. There's not a lot of bumping, I suppose, because that also plays a really big role. I'd like to also point out that my experience with this was we sinoed in, and my nag was actually right in the middle of this. So Loki got fragged pretty early in the fight. Outside of that, nothing else really got touched. I got like a full frontal fucking moment with these people, but it was relying on the servers performing the way that they would in Tranquility, with less Titans that you'd need to actually perform this in Tranquility, with less of a chance of bumping that you would actually need like in Tranquility to make this work. So as innovative as they might try to make themselves out to be, I don't think they tested this quite enough on the test server. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Wow, realistically, like I can tell you how I would have done it, but I'd rather not say it.
Well, I think I know how you done it too, because I think you guys like Villy and Test are probably the most experienced with this specific kind of thing.
Possible.
I don't think you guys have done it on. Have you guys done it on supers?
No, not like this. Like I can tell you how I would do this plan, but like and do it better. But I'd rather not say those things on comms just because I don't want to give them any more
Well,
ideas than.
because yeah, for sure. But I mean, like, so
just
you have
modify your
25
idea a
fucking
little
Titans.
bit to guarantee it won't
Shh,
work.
space secrets. Don't let them in.
I kind of feel like if I was gonna do that, you'd want to go. I don't know. Not all in, but like you need more than 25. You need more than 25 to get anything fucking done, in my opinion.
You need
Even
basically
without tie dye.
you need basically 30 almost is the real reality, because no matter like if you're expecting to do this in tie dye, which you're expecting to do this in tie dye because you're expecting there to be a big super blob, which means there's going to be tie dye. So like tie dye is a given. So if you're doing it under tie dye, you have to assume that you're going to have tie dye risk, which is people can't log in, people can't initiate warp, people are getting screwed over, people are disconnecting, etc., etc., etc. So your 30 that you need is realistically like 25, which in theory is like the bare minimum, right?
Right.
And so like then you got to talk about the angles they warped in from, the distances they warped in from, the overlap like failures. Like there's so many different things to touch on in terms of the way they did it. And the funny thing is I don't even think they should have waited or been as quick to pull the gun as they were. I think that they should have literally given the supers time to load and send their fighters out towards the enemy supers if they were going to play this card, right? Because it was a surprise.
And you guys were holding your invuln, obviously.
Yeah. So nobody's holding their invuln, everybody loads, etc., and you know what you're getting into, right? Yeah, it'll increase the spread a tiny little bit, but not much with supers in the old size models.
So now how do you see that playing out with the new size
Well, the
models?
supers will bump off each other now, so nobody's
gonna
going to be. It doesn't really work anymore.
It's gonna be a problem for sure. Which I mean, I would have totally have loved to have gotten onto another one of the goon feeds that they could have potentially have come up with. However, that
So
is
there's
longer a thing now. So fuck you, CCB. Thanks a lot.
There's an interesting question in the chat. What if it worked?
Then they would be rock stars. But the thing
How
is that
How would that
well,
have played out for the rest of the war so far? Like, how would the last few weeks have been different? Had
Well,
the
it's
entire
impossible to sketch out the architecture of like the war if that happens. I mean, we'd be able to replace probably half of them almost instantly, and then the other that's the other thing. Like when you say it worked, like they only were bosoning, I think, what, the Horde group or the NCPL group? I can't remember. I think it was the NCPL group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let me
like
Let me ask you this though, like how since that moment in time, how many times have you guys actually fielded supers?
A dozen?
Yeah,
A
many
dozen times since then. Okay.
Yeah.
Just being a peon, I would think, it means 6th keep star is the win instead of 5. I think that's what happens.
So do you feel like, so if that entire fleet had gotten boson, we'll just put it that way, would that have completely hampered your ability to then field supers in these subsequent fights, or would the
If
entirety
the
of the
NCPL
coalition?
one would have?
Yeah, for sure. Like if they had actually
Not
successfully
real.
boson.
Like we would have been able to replace the majority of the super fleet the next day. Like
Right, and like that's kind of my point. Is like, so
Plus,
even
Logan,
if it was
but it
effective,
would've-
it would have hurt. It would have hurt.
But it would have been a massive momentum swing, like a just massive momentum swing.
So where do you think?
And
they
to
would
be
have
honest,
gone
that
from
momentum swing actually might have been good for us because it might have, incentivized them to think that they can play with Titans and Supers more than they have currently, right?
And
Like
then been more
there's no way to
aggressive.
predict. Yeah, they're more aggressive, more likely to get like a BTEC R level fight. Like there's no, and that ends up, then they take a mistake on that fight and they lose big. Like the number of ways in which that working could have exponentially changed the war, it's just exponential, right? Like it's like every day or every minute after that event,
It is not calculable.
Yeah. Like it's just the momentum swing alone would have been massive, and it's hard to even kind of talk about just how massive that swing would have been. Like I don't even think we had the keep star up at that point, right? So
yeah, like initiative might actually start logging in at this point.
So
So
suffice
that
to say,
being-
we're happy that it didn't work.
Well, that means, oh yeah, I guess.
Well, did we run out of
But-
stuff to talk about?
Yeah,
There's always stuff to talk
It didn't
about.
work. That's the
I
bottom.
know, right? There's always stuff to talk about. That's why.
Did you guys talk about the new Jita 4.4?
We did, yeah. It's actually the
bit.
background of the stream right now.
Oh.
I showed everybody the space train. Have you seen the space train?
Wait,
not really.
the
No.
background of the fucking? I don't see it.
Have you talked about the new dynamic bounty system?
Yep.
Talked about the ESS?
Yep.
Talked about the super changes?
Yup.
Talked about the super nerfs and the super buffs?
Nope. Who got buffed? Who got nerfed? I know Wyvern and Aeon got buffed. Heavy fighters look like they got buffed in like HP and damage, and then nerfed in something else.
So light fighters got a speed and sig nerf, and heavy fighters got a tiny HP buff.
I actually do have a question for Billy though. I really actually do have a question for Billy because I did just brain fart there. But so given the, like what you just said, the profound effect that boson trap could have had, let's just imagine that you are reversed with Matane. Would you have gone after that? Would you have tried to do something?
This is assuming I fucked up everything that they fucked up all the way up to this point in the war?
Absolutely, yes. Like you are literally now in the body of the Batane. Is this something that you think is a great idea? Given the amount of weight that you have admitted that it could have persuaded the war in a certain direction.
If I can set it up properly, yeah.
Fair enough.
Like that's the thing, right? I would not have done it the way they did it. They tried to be way too fancy about it.
Yeah.
But
I really wish you could say how you would have done it, because I'm curious, and I know you don't want to give them ideas, but I wish deep down in my heart of hearts that
after the war, we need like a Villy
well, I can tell you
workshop.
off stream, like
we need
okay.
a Villy workshop. I want like
all right.
We need a fucking I don't know, some kind of presentation, dude. Like,
well, it's just like the way they did it was like so fucking like fancy pants McGee kind of stuff. Like, you've always got to make this stuff as shit simple as humanly possible, so that there's like no room for failure, right? And they didn't, and
so
that's to a degree why things didn't work as well as they did.
A wild star in the chat says if you're behind, you need to throw the Hail Mary, and I agree with that to a certain extent.
But not then. Like not then. That's not when you throw the fucking Hail Mary.
I don't think that you throw a Hail Mary over the armor timer of a random Fortizar and Quirius.
After you literally just fed a fuckload of supers on another random Fortizar fucking timer. So that gets you
They would have been better off to Hail Mary the bubble wrap, truthfully.
Yeah, I mean, I could
Oh, that was
speak to a way that I probably would have handled that, and that would have gone a lot better for me if I were there, but I'm not, so whatever. But the thing is like you throw those Hail Mary passes, and now you're left with Helm's Deep.
What
Those
they're
are
the
very
whole
true.
thing is though is we're wanting them to throw a Hail Mary pass, and they know we want them to, and so they're not so willing to do it as much,
Right, but
especially after
BTEC
seeing that happened with the Titans.
But look at, I mean, yes, but I mean, you want to some extent, if you're Lagoons, you want to reconstruct a situation where the enemy feels extremely confident, like in BTACR, and you fuck them in the ass. That's all you got. So you have like one shot. The one shot is not like some random Fortizar someplace that nobody really gives a shit about. Like they really shouldn't have cared about that Fortizar. If they're speaking from a place where they are now. Right? Like if you actually like
have one
if you look at a
shot.
place where we're going one shot, one opportunity to capture everything you ever wanted. Anyway, doesn't matter. My point is, Jesus Christ, so funny.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm so like yeah, you gotta fucking lose yourself, guys. Anyway, my point is that if you're gonna do that shit, like you have to be thinking from a defensive perspective, like where they are now, like if they had all those assets, if they had all that swagger, if they had all of that shit that they could potentially bring to the table, they could have potentially used that someplace else to not be in this situation, or in this situation use them now. You know
But
what I mean?
that's the point. That's the bravado. That's the swagger. They thought it was going to work. They were convinced it was going to work. They had convinced themselves it was going to work.
I don't know.
It wasn't a Hail Mary play because that means you're admitting I need a Hail Mary play. It's not how.
I will reiterate. I have said on this stream that the Goons will not field a single super cap because of how retarded that would be, and they will find a way. And Villy disagreed with me. They will find a way to get out. And Villy's like, well, they have no place to go. And I'm like, right, but they're gonna have to find a way. That was my entire point. And they did not find a way. They've fielded super caps. They have failed, and now they're in a fucking corner. So that's where we are, basically.
My question is there going to be one?
Sorry,
is it
go
going to
ahead.
be one by Christmas or one DQ1 by Thanksgiving?
Well, what do you mean by 1DQ1? Taking the IHOP, taking the Keepstar, what?
No, are we going to be attacking 1DQ1 by Thanksgiving?
What does attacking mean?
I mean, it's been being attacked for a while.
Please don't make the so. I'm not even gonna. Okay, I don't want to bring this into IRL. Basically, taking a capital city or a system is not necessarily winning a war. We'll just put it that way. Like, if those are your terms of like, Villy has already made it very clear that his terms for success is like total annihilation.
Well, then he did change it a little bit, and
Well, a little bit, but I mean, like
last week we
basically,
were talking about
like,
how there's realistically no way that the Goons get
well, okay, so for
low
total
enough to
annihilation
actually become not
in
a
Eve,
threat.
I mean, how much can you eradicate an alliance in Eve? I mean, to whatever extent you can.
I mean,
I'm sure that's what
we
Billy
killed
wants to do,
Deadco,
right?
Loki.
I mean, it's whatever.
You and I together, the heroes of the North, killed Dead Coalition.
Yeah, but that was honestly, I mean, we did. Yeah, we actually.
It's important to understand my goal is extermination, right? Like, is to break up the Imperium Alliance or the Imperium Coalition. My goal is not that. Like that's my like long term, shoot for the moon goal. I don't know how to put it. Like it's important to understand there's a difference between goals you expect to hit and goals you realistically just shoot for because why not else, right?
You've set the trajectory.
Yeah,
you may
exactly.
veer off the trajectory a little bit, but you still are going in that direction. Those aren't necessarily the goals. That's just the trajectory vector that you want to be on. Annihilation.
Something like that.
Victory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the extent that
The tri-victory.
To be
The
honest,
tri-victory.
like Sword Dragon.
That's something the Goons haven't tried yet.
Sword Dragon kind of did fold pretty easily. Like
He didn't fold that easily. We pushed his shit in pretty hard. Like,
well, I mean,
it was
we were
very
mostly
similar to what's happening now. Because
I mean,
let's be honest, it's not really 102 alliances against Goons. It's Test and it's Legacy and PanFam versus Goons.
He went hard at the beginning, but then like near the end, like all I remember is sitting on grid with a Keepstar that wasn't defended time and time and time and time again, right?
Which
So
is
I mean,
what we're
like
still
yeah,
doing.
to some extent, GOTG did go hard when they realized. Basically, when Test showed up, that was a great turning point because they had the EU presence to fuck whatever the goons were contributing, and also GOTG. So that was good. Those were good times, I suppose, to a certain extent. After that, they basically said, "Fuck this game. We're gonna go do other things," and they literally just folded their alliance. I don't think they necessarily had to in that circumstance. They could give up the keep stars and still have gone on as some form, some semblance of the alliance that they had, or coalition, or whatever, under some other area.
By the way, did you guys talk about the goons' time zone switch?
No, what time zone did they switch it to?
EU.
They switched it
Oh,
back to EU.
are they stupid?
All their sub timers are switching to EU on Wednesday.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Billy. I mean, I don't understand
And
how that's
Happy
a good
New
idea.
Year.
I mean, yeah, I mean, things were working out in USTZ, but I'm gonna kind of say like, so they're gonna
Well-
try to contest you in EU. That sounds like a really, really, really bad idea.
I mean,
Like,
it's
literally
not when you think about
everyone.
it, because everybody. Well, so like we can, in terms of EU, goons can form a lot more than they can in US. They have a wider breadth of FCs that they can choose from. Granted, I mean they're still not very competent because Apple Pay is in that list of FCs. But I digress.
Well, I mean,
they
just
have
saying
a
you have
bigger
more
pool.
FCs to select from does, yeah, they have a bigger pool of FCs. That's great, but like, so does NC Dots. So does, well, I mean, maybe PL. Yeah, PL should still, and then tests, and then like everyone. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess Brave EU or USCZ, or are they just like Omni? I don't even know.
I'm not sure, but like for
they're
us, it's
US
very funny because it's going to basically open XIX back into the war, Siberian squads back into the war.
Yeah, yeah, all
Like,
the Russians, yeah.
Yeah, like so we're like, oh, okay. And you know, like the funny thing is, it's kind of gonna act as like this nice like break for our U.S. time zone guys. We'll get to like do the more chill stuff. But the thing is, all of their structures are gonna be timed to U.S. time zone for a month still, right? So all they've literally done is given us 2 time zones worth of ways to attack now.
Well, I
Wait a
think
minute, Vinny, but with their time zone switch, they're going to be able to bring RA into the fray.
I think what you just said, Billy, giving our USTZ guys a little bit of a break is probably what they actually need to do.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the spin will be that they're like, we're bringing content to the rest of
Yeah,
you know, goons.
I think
We did it
they're-
on purpose, blah blah blah. But it's something else. I agree.
Content?
I think
Tetherswarm, you
people
mean?
are. I
Yeah.
think people. No, I think
We
that
are your content creators.
Right. So the USTZ guys that they have are probably chomping at the bit a little bit, and they're probably pretty tired, and they probably have a lot of IRL issues because, as I understand it, like Headliner was on TIS, and he's talking about, you know, PL members that have some home issues because of the amount of time that they're spending playing in EU even. So I can only imagine what that would equate to if you're a Goon FC in USTZ. Outside of Ela, because I think Ela just like he's no life sit, and that's just how it goes. But outside of that, yeah, it's probably because they need to. If I'm being honest, that's the only thing I can say. Like, there's no advantage to that, in my opinion. I think that it's literally a necessity.
I don't think it's a necessity. I mean, our USTZ guys don't need a break.
I mean, it's kind of
no for the goons, dude. For the goons need a break. That's my entire.
I mean, it's kind of like any war. You know, the front line column. You know, eventually, after so many times you get fighting, you switch them out for the reserve. You know, you let the dudes who are fighting go rest. You know, do less intensive stuff, and then you keep cycling through.
Let him go crab. Let him go crab, Jeremy. Crab.
As the king crab, yes.
Crab lord.
Yeah, the other thing you do is
you're still here. I thought you left.
you retreat your the portion of the army, whatever you want to call it, back, and then you bring in your next biggest group, and you try and fight on a different front and win the war that way. That's the other way of looking at it, right?
Which does mean that if they're in US or EUTZ, that it can come back and actually, you know, fight instead of, you know, Blurkus leading goon fleets.
Yeah, but does it actually help you? I mean, it helps you to a certain extent, but like, does it actually help you?
What do you mean?
Like, it can be effective. But I
Why
mean,
wouldn't it help you? What do you mean?
I think you guys might be surprised
how
at
much
Initiative's commitment level.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
I mean, if I was in it, my commitment level would be at approximately 0.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
mine
trying to
too.
say. I think
I
you'd
would-
be surprised how little initiative give, or how much initiative doesn't give a shit about goons anymore.
I mean, that was
Maybe
kind of
they'll
my
say
point,
different, but
though. Yeah, that was kind of my point because I've looked at some snuff things personally, like so snuff structures, snuff timers, snuff things, and I see in it on the kill mails. I see them RFing. I see them doing things with snuff, which is interesting USTZ. So I'm like, okay, so to what extent is in it even in this? Would be a great question.
To what extent is in it even in it?
Exactly.
Well, the thing is, too, is in it, even if their leadership is all about helping the goons all the way through the end of the war, that doesn't mean the line member that watched goons let Fountain burn is in it to help goons till the end of the war.
To be fair, I don't think that goons let Fountain burn. I just think that they didn't really have much of a choice. We didn't leave much room for them to do anything. Like after D4KU, it was kind of just done. Like it was a done
But
deal.
not all of their
from
line
the
members see it that way. They just see that goons weren't there helping them keep it, and
If I can
that's
just
how they lost it.
generalize, because we cover this quite a few times on the show, and I don't have all of the actual little details, so let me just generalize, and we'll say it's a little bit of spin, but it's really not.
So before you continue, I
the
will let
goons
you
could
know
have
that
done
we
more.
have independent fact checkers on the scene. Anything
That's
that
cool.
you say will 100% be fact checked.
That's totally
So,
cool.
Is your fact checker Brisk?
So,
is your fact checker Brisk? Because
No,
if
we need
that's
to
the
get that
case,
guy
then
from. We need to get that guy from Rogan. That's what we need.
No,
Jamie.
Redline's
Jamie needs to be
statement.
on the show.
Redline's statement was false.
Yeah, there are no facts. Like
Wait.
I'm
Rain is
fact checking them.
wait a
basically the
second.
only one
If
who knows
you're
anything, and
if
like
you're
that's
fact
we
checking
rely on
me,
her.
and you're saying my statement is false, and my statement was that we have fact checkers, doesn't that make my statement true?
Was literally trying to make a point. And
I'm
then
sorry,
you
Loki. I'm
randomly
so
Came up
sorry.
with a paradoxical fucking.
I'm sorry. Make your point. Please make your point.
So my point was on the show we actually covered Init and Goons and the whole relationship in the floodplains and all this other bullshit, right? And we actually came to the conclusion, and I'm going to generalize because I do not have exact details because I was not in this war, where the Goons could have been more helpful to their friends in Fountain. They could have done things, they could have moved things, they could have gone through a regional gate to do things for those people back, especially at the beginning where it was actually possible to do. At a certain point it became not really possible or not really worth it to do as Pappy began to like destroy Keepstar after Keepstar, and then all of that shit unfolded. At the beginning, I think that we sort of argued that the goons could have done more to help in it, and I think we were saying like in it should just defect because the goons don't care about you.
Yes, which is exactly what we said multiple times,
Right.
and we were
So,
assured that that would never ever happen.
well, and I mean to some extent that hasn't necessarily happened, although some corps in it are not really doing things in Delve right now, and I mean to what extent did the war have to play with that? Maybe they were never helping, the goons. Maybe they're always helping Snuff. I don't know, dude. But what I can say is in the last couple weeks, I've definitely noticed that, USCZ for Snuff has gone up quite a bit because there are like random init corps helping, and that's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, gang, I think it's time that we do our final thoughts for the night, just because I am getting tired, and we pushed the show on a little longer than normal, so we can do our final thoughts. Plus, I want to make sure that a person that I'm giving a special shout out to is still watching. So got to make sure that we do that. So let's start off with Jeremy. Jeremy, why don't you give us what your final thought is for the night, buddy?
My final thoughts: everyone who plays Eve is a cool cat, like you all. I hope someone comes to bash my PUIG Fortizar, and I still think the ESS changes are a bad idea.
Okay, fair enough. And so that's the great thing about this show is everybody's entitled to an opinion, no matter how wrong it is. Riker, how about you?
A lot of fun here tonight, and all I want to say is that always remember to bubble wrap your keep stars.
Okay, fair. And Rich?
I came in an hour late. I'm gonna go find a clown mask, and I'm gonna go rob an ESS. Payday 2 style.
Dude, I miss that game a lot.
And if you look in Cesspool, you'll find a nice clown-related art piece.
Yeah, I did appreciate that I wasn't in there, by the way. Good shit. All right, Dominar, any final thoughts for us?
I'd like to give a shout out to the weather in Iowa this weekend was fucking great. I actually went camping in November. Today sucks, but whatever.
Bro, it's so wild. Like, it's fucking November and it's
my bike.
75 degrees in Michigan.
I want to.
80 miles and camp
Fuck
80
all
nights.
of you. No, fuck all of you. I literally was just in. It's the middle of winter up here for me. So.
It's 22 now here. It was 75
Where's up here?
yesterday.
Canada.
Yeah,
Y'all
what
can
part?
go, Edmonton.
Oh, I went to U of A. I'm from Banff.
I'm in
I'm
the
from
middle
Banff.
of. Oh, fair enough. So I guess maybe you felt our pain. It's the middle of winter in November. Fuck that shit. And
Yeah.
fuck you, global warming.
I didn't
don't
feel your
know.
pain. I live in Dallas now. It was 80 degrees.
Wow. All right, so I'm by myself up here. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, sir.
That's why I got out of fucking Edmonton. I don't have to shovel. I do not have to shovel sunshine.
Wait, I thought you were from Banff.
I am from
I
Banff,
don't know.
yeah,
I'm
originally.
so confused. Okay.
Well, look at my first name, man, dude. The light will go on. There you go.
There you go.
It's all right.
All right, well, Loki, that was a pretty good final thought from you.
Pretty
so
much,
Rain,
yeah.
how about
Thanks.
you?
Yep, I'm gonna give a shout out to the Even T crew. They're doing the Alliance Opens this weekend, so the 14th and the 15th. It's around 1500 to 2200. So if you miss tournament play or the Alliance tournament, or you want to see people blow each other up, definitely tune in there. And then they're also gonna do finals the following weekend. I believe it's the 21st and the 22nd, around the same time, like 1500 to 2200.
I'll be there. Come watch us lose.
You can also participate in chat, and I think you get to win skins or something like that too. So if you want to just be a shameless sort of like skin person, that sounded really weird. I'm so sorry.
If you would be a
Put some lotion
skin
on his
person.
skin.
All right, Rendell, you got anything for us tonight?
Yeah, well, I want to thank my shout out to two people here. Jade Cougar, who used to be a co-host on Lost and Eve way back when I started podcasting, and I want to thank Trash Talk Tuesday for letting me on to kick back off my podcasting career here in Eve. And my final thought is, even killing Pocos can be content if you do it right.
That's don't ever say those words again. Don't.
Well,
Pocos are death, pure death.
Is it what podcast, Rendell?
Lost in Eve is what I
Okay,
did with Jade Cougar, and so I'm
Okay.
gonna kick
You
it back
are-
off. Call it Lost
you were
Again in
the
Eve.
starting Clue Space Nerds.
Hey.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
You
But
know
anyways,
what? I got this cool website called New Eden Post that
I
I
know, I'm
host
checking it out.
podcasts. So I mean,
Mhm.
if you're interested, I got the hookup for you.
Well, maybe
talk
there's a
to-
reason I'm here. Maybe there's a reason I'm here.
Interesting.
It's
All right.
very funny. Oh, go ahead. We'll talk about it. We're offline.
So my final thought for tonight goes out to a particular individual in Goons called Chloridane. Chloridane, I miss you and I love you. Chloridane was one of my friends in Goons who is now saying that I am the typical join Goons, learn things, get a huge ego, get told no, quit, and join the opposite side, Goons. And then another person, Agent Coulson, follows up by saying, literally trash we threw out. I just want to set the record straight for a moment. For anybody who is, in Goons and listening to the stream against the wishes of your dear leader, I need you to know that I did not get kicked out of your shitty alliance. I left your shitty alliance because I didn't want to fight another war for the God Queen Matani, and that is what I ended up, leaving for. And I didn't leave to join NC. That's a thing that just happened afterwards. So if you want to keep saying that shit, you can literally go fuck yourself. But keep watching the stream though, because I appreciate your views. But yeah, I mean that's gonna be it from us at the Trash Talk Tuesday crew. To all of you watching, to everybody who's gonna listen later on or watch on YouTube, thanks for being a part of the family. I actually got a message on Reddit the other day, thanking me for having this show, and I had to respond. I just had to say thank you right back, because without you guys watching and without you guys here in the Discord channel, on here to chat this shit with us, there wouldn't be a Trash Talk Tuesday. This isn't my doing. I went AFK for like 20 minutes, and I'm pretty sure the show was the best it was all night. So this could be done completely without me. It's you guys that make it. So thank you, and we'll see you next week for hopefully a sweet chat with a bunch of fleet commanders and stuff like that, and we'll see where we go. So don't forget to subscribe with Twitch Prime and follow the channel and do all that shit. And we'll see you next week. Everyone say bye.
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 Bye, man.
Bye.